Chapter 1139. Xian Daozi's efficiency was extremely high, and he soon had a result. His Highness Night Sorrow is currently collecting 2 types of tea, Tao Comprehension Tea and Heart Cleansing Tea. He's buying them at a very high price. Could it be that he has designs on Her Highness Sandalwood? Xian Daozi asked, somewhat puzzled. In all of Night Sorrow's life he's never used his emotions to do anything, said the Lotus Emperor. What you're saying is blasphemy. Call Night Sorrow over. After giving Xian Daozi a bit of scolding, he went on to assign a task. When Xian Daozi arrived at the 9-layer building, Night Sorrow was cultivating his battle skills. When he heard his master summon him, Night Sorrow changed his clothes and followed Xian Daozi to the Azure Sky Pavilion with Summer City. Night Sorrow, why do you want to see Sandalwood? What's the point? Seeing Night Sorrow, the Qing Emperor didn't say anything polite. There's no point. No matter how glorious he was in the past, he's now in dire straits. He's a pitiful hero at the end of his road. I've become Master's disciple and he's my senior brother. At the very least, I need to let him know that there are people under Master who care about him. Even if I can't do anything, I can still accompany him for a period of time, Night Sorrow said. Well said. I don't care much for him. None of my princes and princesses will care about this crazy senior brother. Xian Daozi, go make the arrangements. Give Night Sorrow 300,000 merit points and 30,000 Holy Spirit stones. The Qing Emperor tapped his finger on the table and gave an order. Master, you can't. I'll earn merit points. I'm a refiner and an alchemist. I have my ways of making a living. Night Sorrow bowed. Look at the original chapter. Haha, everything I have will be passed down to someone who can take responsibility in the future. All right, you can leave. The Qing Emperor waved his hand. He was very happy today. Summer City didn't say anything and cupped his hands before leaving the Azure Sky Pavilion with Night Sorrow. What a sentimental person. Your Majesty, you've struck gold this time, Xian Daozi said. Qing Emperor shook his head. Just now, he had inadvertently wanted to see how Night Sorrow was doing with his cultivation, but as soon as he did, he found that he was being suppressed. He didn't understand why. He knew exactly what level he was at and yet he was still being suppressed. Of course, he didn't say anything to Xian Daozi. Everyone had their own secrets and as his master he naturally had to help keep them safe. I really haven't paid much attention to Sandalwood these years. I hope he can persevere, Qing Emperor said. His Highness Night Sorrow's visit has changed Sandalwood's state of mind, said Xian Daozi. It seems that there is indeed a change in the state of mind. You should also go to other cities and help me find these 2 types of tea. Sandalwood, I have never given up, the Qing Emperor said in a low voice. Sandalwood was the Qing Emperor's first disciple, and the Qing Emperor had put in a lot of effort into it. They were very close. Now that there was hope, he naturally had to do his best. Xian Daozi also knew that. Back in the day, the Qing Emperor had wanted to cut the Gordian knot and get rid of Sandalwood so that Sandalwood would suffer less, but he couldn't do it. Uncle Xia, isn't this gift a little too valuable? Isn't merit strictly regulated? After leaving the Azure Sky Pavilion, Night Sorrow looked at Summer City and asked. Haha, His Majesty gave it himself. Sometimes, His Majesty will kill some big shots and opponents. Since he has no merit, he will use it as a reward. As for the Holy Spirit stones, the Qing Emperor's dynasty is His Majesty's. Tens of thousands of Holy Spirit stones are nothing, said Summer City. Summer City didn't say that through this incident, Night Sorrow's importance in the Qing Emperor's eyes increased. Night Sorrow did things that the other princes wouldn't do. It was inhumane. In addition to refining pills and tools, Night Sorrow would also visit the Azure Phoenix Army and Azure Phoenix Palace. Night Sorrow would also pass by. The soldiers of the Massacring Gods territory would welcome Night Sorrow every time he came. They liked this vice-commander very much. Yishan would also point out the flaws in the cultivation of the joint attack formation. In addition, he would also explain some combat techniques to everyone. Qin Leitang would also come to take a look sometimes. He had mixed feelings. Night Sorrow was a qualified commander, but he was currently in the midst of a storm. Night Sorrow didn't stay in the barracks. He would return at night. He had his own nest. In addition to refining pills and tools, Night Sorrow didn't forget to go to the Devil Ceiling Pagoda to chat with Sandalwood. Sandalwood's condition was clearly improving. She was stable for longer and longer. Senior brother, I can confirm that there are some problems with your mental state and mental state. The effects of medicinal pills aren't that great. Drink some tea and adjust your mental state. Once it's more or less stabilized, I'll think of another way for you, Yishang said. Sandalwood nodded. She knew that the Tao-comprehending tea and heart-cleansing tea that Night Sorrow got for her were rare and hard to find on the market. Night Sorrow then left because it was time for Sandalwood to act up. After leaving, Night Sorrow also had a plan. He would come back earlier tomorrow. This way he could bring Sandalwood out to get some fresh air and see the sun. After returning to the Nine Chong building, Night Sorrow ate dinner with his wife and parents. Then he went to study the Qing Emperor's letter. While Night Sorrow was studying the letter, Princess Qing Wan found a few of her brothers to chat with. She was dissatisfied with an outsider becoming a prince. Princess Qing Wan's words immediately resonated. The palace master of Qing Wan Palace, who had the position of majesty, was against this matter. The other princes who didn't have the position of majesty were obviously even more dissatisfied. They all wanted to teach Yishang a lesson. From the bottom of their hearts, they felt that they were nobler than Yishang because they had the Azure Emperor's bloodline in their bodies. After sending off the princes, Princess Qing Wan smiled. She felt that if Yishang was ostracized and sensed that something was wrong, he would completely rely on her. She planned to enjoy the pleasure of controlling a prince. The other two imperial highnesses in the history of the Azure Emperor dynasty, Zhan Tan and Qing Lin, were not people she could contend against. The Qing Lin army's furious Qilin army, which was the most elite troop, and the Qinghuan army's strongest Thunderclap army were both troops of Zhan Tan's Nine Heavens army. The Nine Heavens army was reorganized after Sandalwood's incident. Two of them were merged into the Qing Emperor's Imperial Guard and the other two were given to Green Qilin and Green Phoenix. Night Sorrow didn't know what Qing Wan was thinking. After studying the Qing Emperor's letter, he went to the practice field to watch everyone cultivate. He also gave some pointers. In the evening, Yishan first went to a Bright Moon restaurant and found a table near the window that had a good view of the main street. After making a reservation, he went to the Devil's Ceiling Tower. "Senior brother, I'm here. Change your clothes and let's go drink." Night Sorrow had the guards open the cell and handed a robe to Sandalwood. "Okay. Master only locked me up. He didn't say I couldn't go out." Sandalwood smiled. "Men, come open the lock." Night Sorrow shouted to the guards. "Your Highness, I have no authority. This can only be done after the commander's order." "The commander's order is good, but your Highness's order is not? Do you believe that when I recover, the first person I will deal with is you?" Sandalwood was a bit angry. He just wanted to go out and take a look. Chapter 1140. Her Highness Sandalwood isn't in good condition. Putting aside the issue of orders, we must respect His Highness Night Sorrow's orders. This is His Majesty's decree. The commander of the Qing Emperor's guard came over and informed the guards. "Thank you. I will be back in 4 hours." Night Sorrow said to the commander of the Qing Emperor's guard. "Farewell, your Highnesses." The commander of the Qing Emperor's guard and the guards bowed. Night Sorrow was currently very popular. Although Sandalwood was in trouble, she was still a highness. "Senior brother, I can't keep you outside. When you're more or less recovered, I will tell Master." Night Sorrow said apologetically after they left the Devil's Ceiling Tower. "Everyone knows what's good and bad. All these years, other than a few of my old subordinates, no one has come to visit me. It's not easy to come out for 4 hours. Where can we go?" Sandalwood patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. "Of course, to Senior Brother's favorite Bright Moon Hotel." Night Sorrow said. "Then what are we waiting for? Let's go." Sandalwood's body flickered as she flew towards Bright Moon Hotel with Night Sorrow. Once they arrived at Bright Moon Hotel, Sandalwood sat down at the usual spot. After the two sat down, the banquet was served. "Senior brother, it's enough. We have plenty of time in the future." Night Sorrow said. "All right. After 2 cups, let's have some tea." Sandalwood nodded. She knew Night Sorrow was worried that she wasn't in good condition and wanted to go back early. After 2 bowls of wine, Night Sorrow brewed heart-cleansing tea. The two sipped the tea and looked out the window. "Junior brother, do you know how long I've been locked up? Almost 5 million years. At that time, the Qinglin army didn't exist. It was my Nine Heavens army that ruled the world." Sandalwood said emotionally. "Don't worry. As long as you're alive, there's always a chance. Stay true to your heart." Night Sorrow said. Just as the two of them were talking, 2 young men in brocade robes arrived. Someone has taken the good spot?" "Brother Tiger Emperor, just tell them to scram," a young man in a brocade robe said. "Brother Zhen, don't speak nonsense. Isn't this His Highness Night Sorrow? You're good at eating other people's food." The man called Brother Tiger Emperor looked at Yishang with a smile on his face. "Can the two of you give me some face today? At any other time, Night Sorrow is welcome to visit and apologize. Night Sorrow stood up. Do you have any face? Your face is given by our Azure Imperial Dynasty. This prince and brother Jianghu are true descendants of the Imperial Dynasty, said Qing Zhen. Senior brother, I'm sorry. It seems this matter needs to be resolved. This is a provocation. If you want to fight, then let's fight. Night Sorrow stretched out his arm, and Heaven Splitter, which had been nourishing within his dantian, appeared in his hand. 2 pieces of trash, can you make a fuss now? If I kill you today, your deaths will be in vain. Sandalwood took a sip of tea and stood up. Your Highness Sandalwood. You're Her Highness Sandalwood? Jianghu's eyes were filled with fear. Let's not talk about you. Ask Qing Lin if he can speak loudly to me. Even if I kill you, I'll just be staying in the demon ceiling tower. Do you want to try? Sandalwood's robe fluttered as she prepared to attack. Sorry to disturb your Highness Sandalwood. We'll leave immediately. Jianghu, whose face was filled with shock and fear, pulled Qing Zhen away. Night Sorrow smiled at Sandalwood embarrassedly. I wanted to bring senior brother out for a walk, but we encountered such a disappointing situation. Sandalwood shook her head. She didn't care about that at all. What she cared about was that Night Sorrow could shoulder the responsibility and bring her out. After all, if Sandalwood got into trouble, Night Sorrow wouldn't be able to get away with it. Night Sorrow and Sandalwood drank tea and chatted casually. Looking at the people outside the window, Sandalwood was very calm. But when it was time, she stood up. We should go back. In your words, there's still plenty of time in the future. After sending Sandalwood back to the demon ceiling tower, Night Sorrow returned to the 9 grand floors to continue refining the orders He Chiu and Jun Xuanji received. He was very quiet, but it wasn't as peaceful below. Qing Lin and Qing Wan received the news. Qing Lin smashed the table in front of him. Sandalwood was someone who had once suppressed him. He only truly rose after Sandalwood's incident. It could be said that Sandalwood was a demon in his heart. Your Highness, there's no need to be so worried. Sandalwood is a crazy person. It's a problem with her cultivation. Medicine is basically ineffective. Even if she can stabilize it for a while, so what? If it could be treated, His Majesty would have done it long ago. Why would it drag on for millions of years? Perhaps it's the final radiance of the setting sun before her mental state collapses. Shengguan Hong appeared beside Qing Lin. That's true. I was too worried. If it could be treated, he wouldn't have been locked up for millions of years. Qing Lin smiled coldly. Qing Lin was very gentlemanly when it didn't concern his own interests. But when it concerned himself, he was ruthless and unscrupulous. Qing Hu and Qing Zhen were currently in Princess Qing Wan's Qing Wan Palace. They told her about their findings. Princess Qing Wan's face turned cold. She knew what kind of person Sandalwood was. If Sandalwood rose again, she and Qing Lin would be fine. Not to mention, there was still Night Sorrow, who was favored by the Qing Emperor. If Sandalwood walked out of the demon ceiling tower, the Qing Emperor's dynasty would be in a new situation. Damn it. This Night Sorrow really has all kinds of tricks. Your Majesty, go find him. Princess Qing Wan stood up and rushed towards the 9 grand floors. Zhou Tingyun followed behind her. Qing Hu and Qing Zhen also followed. They didn't care about Night Sorrow at all. While Night Sorrow was studying the Qing Emperor's letter, He Chiu came to report that Princess Qing Wan had brought Zhou Tingyun and the 2 princes with her. Understood. Maybe it's because of me and Sandalwood drinking today. Don't worry about it. Night Sorrow stood up and walked towards the main hall. Summer City also followed behind. When they arrived at the main hall of the 9 grand floors, Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Princess Qing Wan. Your Majesty is here. Have a seat. Forever free of charge. She glanced at Night Sorrow with her almond eyes and sat down with a smile. She knew that she couldn't force Night Sorrow at the moment. It was best to use conciliation to resolve the matter. At this moment, Qing Hu and Qing Zhen also wanted to find a seat. However, Summer City wasn't willing. This is the 9 grand floors. Without His Majesty Night Sorrow, there's no place for you to sit. Summer City roared. We are the princes of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Why is there no place for us to sit in the territory of the Qing Emperor's dynasty? Qing Hu said unhappily. At this moment, Fei Xiu and Shen Han also entered the main hall. They heard Summer City's voice. Throw out those who don't respect Uncle Summer in the 9 grand floors. Night Sorrow said to Fei Xiu and Shen Han. You two be quiet for a while. Princess Qing Wan scolded Qing Hu and Qing Zhen. She felt that the situation wasn't right. This is the first time Princess Qing Wan has come to visit me after I entered the 9 grand floors. Servants, serve me tea. Night Sorrow shouted to the servant girl. Junior brother, your majesty heard that you went to see Sandalwood. Princess Qing Wan went straight to the point. Chapter 1141. Yes. After senior brother Sandalwood went mad, he has been locked up and has no one to rely on. I should visit him before I go to master. Night Sorrow said after taking a sip of tea. But he is mad after all. There is no point in seeing him. Princess Qing Wan shook her head and rejected Night Sorrow's suggestion. Bullshit. Humans need to be grateful. I don't know what will happen to him in the future. I will do whatever I can for him. Night Sorrow said. But your majesty doesn't think it is appropriate. Princess Qing Wan didn't agree. As master's eldest senior brother, it is reasonable for me to take care of him. Please understand, your highness. Yishang did not back down. When he had first met Sandalwood, he had been deeply moved by her vicissitudes and decadence. Night Sorrow didn't back down. The situation was in a stalemate. Princess Qing Wan thought that if she continued to emphasize this problem, their relationship would be bad. She even felt that she had to reconsider if it was feasible to rope in Night Sorrow. Should she work with Qinglin to suppress Night Sorrow first? Princess, Night Sorrow has to follow orders in the Green Phoenix army. Other times please don't mind him. Summer City said. Your Majesty hopes that junior brother can have a smooth journey. Since junior brother insists, then your Majesty won't say anything. Your Majesty is just worried that there are some voices in the Empire that will harm junior brother Night. Princess Qing Wan said. Thank you for your reminder. Night Sorrow cupped his hands. After drinking a cup of tea, Princess Qing Wan left with Zhuo Tingyun. Jianghu and Qing Zhen glared at Night Sorrow and also left. Seems like she is afraid of Sandalwood. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Summer City nodded. She then told Night Sorrow about Sandalwood's situation in the Qing Emperor's empire. She even said that if Sandalwood came back, the Qinglin army and Green Phoenix army would be unstable. Human feelings. You're lacking in human touch, Yishan lamented. After returning to Qing Wan Palace, Qing Wan sent Qing Hu and Qing Zhen away. Elder Zhuo, the situation doesn't look too good. This Night Sorrow isn't easy to control. Princess Qing Wan said. That is indeed the case. He looks very gentle, but there is a stubbornness in his bones. We can't force him, so we have to coax him. It's not worth it to offend him. It's equivalent to forcing him into an opposing position. Zhuo Tingyun shook his head. Today he had witnessed Night Sorrow's unyielding character. It's not a good sign that he came into contact with Sandalwood. Princess Qing Wan was worried. The Thunder Army was once part of the Nine Heaven Army. It was only after something happened to Sandalwood that she asked the Qing Emperor for an army. If Sandalwood can be restored, can His Majesty imprison him for 5 million years? He's already in the past. What's the use of someone who's only awake for an hour a day? There's no need to pay attention to him, Zhuo Tingyun said. That's right. Your Majesty is thinking too much. After all, Sandalwood is a cripple. Maybe one day his Dao heart will be in chaos and he will end his own life. Princess Qing Wan nodded. She thought about it and felt that it was making a mountain out of a molehill. However, from this matter, Princess Qing Wan also knew Night Sorrow's character. He was someone who wouldn't give in to anything he was determined to do. 9-layer pavilion. Your Majesty, Princess Qing Wan has always been scheming. If there's no other way, just form your own army. Don't be tricked by her. Summer City was a little worried. Qinghu and Qing Zhen came together. This proved that Princess Qing Wan had already formed a group to go against Night Sorrow. Don't worry, Leitang Army Lord promised me that he wouldn't let me become a sacrifice in the Thunder Army. Night Sorrow said. Summer City nodded. He understood Qin Leitang and knew that with Qin Leitang's character, he definitely wouldn't do anything dirty. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow decided to meet the Qing Emperor to understand Sandalwood's situation and see if he could really cure him. When he arrived outside the Azure Sky Pavilion, Night Sorrow stood there. If the Qing Emperor wanted to see him, he would naturally be notified. If not, he wouldn't see him. Night Sorrow had just stood there for a while when Shen Daozi came to inform Night Sorrow to enter. What's the matter? The Qing Emperor, who was sitting on the praying mat, didn't open his eyes. Disciple went to see senior brother Sandalwood these few days. I tried to enlighten him and change his state of mind, but it didn't solve the root of the problem. Disciple wants to know what the root of the problem is. Night Sorrow asked. It's rare for you to be so thoughtful. However, this problem is very difficult to solve. If it could be solved, I wouldn't have locked him up. The Qing Emperor opened his eyes and looked at Night Sorrow. Then the Qing Emperor told him the specific reason. Sandalwood had a problem with his cultivation. Sandalwood was very talented. He cultivated the way of blood evil, but his control of the rules was lacking. Back then he used external objects to break through to the Saint Plane. Then he became a Saint King and then a King King. The key to the problem was that as Sandalwood's control of his will became more profound, he didn't have enough support to understand the rules. Then, his soul was affected and he often went crazy. The main reason is that the blood evil is too strong and overbearing. It is a branch of the supreme element, the destruction element. It is difficult to understand the rules. The Samsara Palace can help you understand the will, but it can't help you understand the rules. I can't do anything about it, the Qing Emperor said. Master, disciple may have a solution. Night Sorrow's eyes lit up. He didn't have enough eyesight to see the root of Sandalwood's problem, but he had a solution. He had a blood evil destiny stone that others couldn't use. Even if he lent it to Sandalwood, it wouldn't be a big loss. You can solve a problem that even His Majesty can't solve? Xian Daozi said with a smile. His eyes were full of disbelief. I once had a blood evil destiny stone, Night Sorrow said. You really have a blood evil destiny stone? The Qing Emperor stood up. Yes, but I have some treasures with me. I don't have the blood evil destiny stone with me, Night Sorrow said. That's great. After 5 million years, Sandalwood's temperament is very good. If he can recover, it will be great for him. The Qing Emperor's eyes were full of light. Master, leave this to me. Night Sorrow bowed to the Qing Emperor. Okay, go. The Qing Emperor nodded. The news that Night Sorrow brought to him was very stimulating. He cared too much about Sandalwood, his first disciple. Night Sorrow left the Azure Sky Pavilion. After returning to the 9 grand floors, he took the teleportation array to the 7-night city and then to the city in the sky. At this time, his original body was waiting in the mansion. Recently, Night Sorrow's main body had been relaxing his mental state. His cultivation speed had been a little too fast during this period of time. His original body handed the blood evil destiny stone to his clone and continued chatting with Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, and Aoi. Night Sorrow's 3 wives and Shuexi's clone were in the 9 grand floors. His original body was in the city in the sky. They planned to accompany Night Sorrow for a while before going to the Spacetime Treasure Pagoda to cultivate. After all, as a Sector Lord, Night Sorrow didn't have a child. Chapter 1142. Night Sorrow took the Blood Fiend Destiny Stone and returned to Reincarnation Great World. He calculated the time and waited. Your Highness, if this is effective, the Qing Emperor's dynasty will change. It will be beneficial for your safety, Summer City said. Summer City knew that Night Sorrow didn't want to fight because he wanted stability. If Sandalwood came back, he wouldn't allow Qing Lin and Qing Wan to suppress Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. He didn't want to borrow Sandalwood's power, but he would definitely be affected if Sandalwood came back. Night Sorrow arrived at the Devil's Ceiling Tower on time. Junior brother, you're here. You're on time today. Sandalwood was a little out of breath. He had just stopped after a day of madness and wasn't in good condition. Senior brother, your chance is here. I've asked Master about your condition. You don't understand the blood law enough. Take a look at this. Night Sorrow took out the Blood Fiend Destiny Stone and handed it to Sandalwood. This is an origin stone that contains the blood law. Sandalwood's hands trembled. This was too important to him. It was the key to solving his madness. Take it and cultivate well. I won't disturb you. When you can go out, come find me at the 9 grand floors. We'll drink until we're drunk. Night Sorrow left Sandalwood with a pot of heart-cleansing tea and left. Junior brother, wait for me. It won't take long. Sandalwood shouted at Yishang's back. She then told the guards that no one was to disturb this place. She then sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. Solve the root of the problem. His Highness Sandalwood won't be long before he comes out. There's nothing to say about his talent. It won't take him long to comprehend the laws. He also has the foundation of the baleful blood law. Once he comes out, Qing Lin and Qing Wan will suffer, said Xia Cheng, who was beside Yishang. I've never thought about that. I'm helping him because he's my senior. As for the current situation, I'm not afraid. Qing Lin and Qing Wan can't do anything to me, Night Sorrow said. Summer City nodded. He knew that this was an unintended outcome. Look at the original chapter. After returning to the 9 grand floors, Night Sorrow would quietly refine pills and forge equipment every day. Then he would study the Qing Emperor's handwritten letter and continue to strengthen the Emperor reincarnation / In the Azure Sky Pavilion, there were piles of ancient books in front of the Qing Emperor. He seemed to be looking for something. Xian Daozi stared in shock, not understanding what Qing Emperor was doing. After reading a yellowed book, the Qing Emperor waved his arm and the book turned into ashes. It was enough for him to know some things. Xian Daozi was stunned. The Qing Emperor had never been so cautious before. The Qing Emperor had an impression in his mind that the origin stones of the ultimate branch would only grow next to the ultimate branch fate jewels. They were associated with the ultimate branch fate jewels. In other words, the destruction branch fate jewels would have the void branch fate jewels. On the other hand, the destruction branch fate jewels would only be associated with the void branch fate jewels. The Qing Emperor had checked the book to confirm this. Now he understood why Night Sorrow was suppressed. After experiencing it, he also knew what it was. It was the suppression of the ultimate branch fate jewels. The Qing Emperor laughed. In the past, he had taken in a destruction branch fate jewels as a disciple. He had been very happy because it was a ultimate branch fate jewels. In all the ultimate worlds, there were many high-level king and monarch branch fate jewels, but no ultimate branch fate jewels had ever appeared. Even ultimate branch fate jewels were rare. Now the Qing Emperor had proven that Night Sorrow's body had a ultimate branch fate jewels. Otherwise, it would not have been able to suppress his space branch fate jewels. Your Majesty, why are you so happy? Xian Daozi asked. Nothing much. I just confirmed some things. The Qing Emperor shook his head. It was not that he did not trust Xian Daozi. He just felt that before Night Sorrow grew up, it was better to keep this a secret. After Night Sorrow finished forging a custom-made armor, Bei Xing arrived. Bei Xing told Night Sorrow that the Grey Cloud Sect, Moon Demon Realm, and Scorpio Realm had joined forces and started a realm war against the mysterious Sky World. Night Sorrow's face turned cold. How could this be? They proved that the mysterious Sky King obtained the soul cultivation fluid. They are worried that the mysterious Sky King will become the second mysterious Sky King, so they want the mysterious Sky King to hand over the soul cultivation fluid. Otherwise they will wipe out the mysterious celestial realm and kill the mysterious Sky King, Bei Xing explained. The mysterious Sky King still hasn't refined the soul cultivation fluid? Night Sorrow frowned. 1 drop of the soul cultivation fluid cannot be refined without 100 years. It is too violent. It must be refined bit by bit to nourish the soul. Now the Grey Cloud King, Moon Demon Realm, and Scorpio Realm King are not giving the mysterious Sky King the chance, Bei Xing said. Is there no helper in the mysterious Sky World? Night Sorrow took a deep breath and asked. There is no news from the Seven Rain King, so no one is coming. Only the Sea Waves King is helping, but he is not a match for the mysterious Sky King because there are other worlds without a king. The Purple Clouds King did not show up. The mysterious Sky King tried to persuade him, but it was to no avail. The Nine Clouds Realm will not participate in the World War of the Nine Clouds Realm. This is the mysterious Sky King's vow, so the current situation is very difficult, Bei Xing said. Then I will go back. Night Sorrow's face was full of murderous intent. He was very angry. The Grey Cloud King and Moon Demon Realm King were too shameless. Is it convenient for you? Bei Xing asked. It is convenient for me. It is not suitable for me to bring the people of the 9-story tower, but I can bring the members of the God-slaying team back. This happened because of me, so I cannot ignore it. If we cannot win, we will go to their backyard and start a fire. Night Sorrow said his decision. Your Highness, it is also suitable to bring the people of the 9-story tower. The Qing Emperor's guards and the city guards came to the 9-story tower to listen to your Highness' orders and fight for your Highness. Now is the time for them to contribute. How can it not be suitable? Summer City said. In that case, gather the people. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow felt that it was not a big deal. Soon, the people of the 9-story tower were all gathered. Report the strength of the people. Night Sorrow looked at Fei Xiao and Shen Han in front of the group and said, there are 31 people in the Qing Emperor's guards. 1 overlord, 3 high-level king, 9 mid-level king and 10 low-level monarchs. Fei Xiao stepped forward and reported. There are 91 people in the city guards. 1 high-level king, 3 mid-level king, 9 low-level king, and the rest are Saint Kings. Shen Han cupped his hands and reported. Night Sorrow knew that this was the organization. The captain of the Qing Emperor's guards led 3 teams. Each team had 10 people. The captain was an overlord, the captain was a high-level king, 3 mid-level king and 7 low-level king. The level of the city guards was slightly lower. A large captain led 3 small teams, but each small team had 30 people. The large captain was a high-level monarch king, the small team leaders were mid-level monarchs, and each small team had 3 low-level monarchs. Hichio, 7-star king. Ichio stepped forward. And me. Summer City, who was standing beside Night Sorrow, stepped forward as well. Chapter 1143. Uncle Summer, you are? Night Sorrow looked at Summer City. Monarch, peak monarch, Summer City reported his strength. Night Sorrow didn't know what peak monarch meant, but it wasn't the right time to ask. Captain Shin, leave a small group of city guards for Manager He to guard the Ninechong Tower. The rest of you come with us. Night Sorrow made the arrangements. Hearing Yi Shang's order, everyone bowed and accepted it. #genuine are 4-inch Bei Xing, where are the other monarchs? Night Sorrow asked. The 3 monarchs are currently in the mysterious sky world. They're looking for Monarch Shen Tian, but Monarch Shen Tian can't show himself. He's not a match for them. Even if he shows up, he'll be killed, Bei Xing said. The 3 captains of the Qing Emperor's guards will lead a team to the Moon Demon World. Destroy the Moon Demon World's nest first, Night Sorrow ordered. No, the Moon Demon World, the Scorpio World, and the Gray Cloud Sect are all in the mysterious sky world. We can't solve the problem if we go to the Moon Demon World now, Bei Xing said anxiously. We can't follow other people's plans in war. That's too passive. Now follow my orders. Go to Monarch Hailan. If you find him, crush your message crystal and go to the teleportation formation in Shantian City to find me. Even if I'm not there, I'll wait for you when I feel the teleportation formation breaking. Night Sorrow took out a message crystal and handed it to Bei Xing. I'll go to the Sea Demon World to find Monarch Hailan. Now that the other side is strong, Monarch Hailan won't enter the mysterious sky world rashly. Bei Xing took Night Sorrow's message crystal and was about to leave through the teleportation formation. Bei Xing, wait. It's useless to teleport to Chiye City. The teleportation formation in Shantian City isn't safe. You can't go to the Sea Demon World. Manager He, take Bei Xing and go to the Qing Emperor's teleportation formation directly to the 9 Heavens World, then to the Sea Demon World, Night Sorrow said to Hichio. Rest assured, Your Highness. Hichio bowed and left the 9-story tower with Bei Xing. The 9-story tower's interrealm teleportation array was connected to 7 Night City. Now they were going to the Qing Emperor City's official teleportation array. City guards, our target is the Sky Dome Realm's Gray Cloud Sect. Uncle Xia, our group will head to the Sky Profound World's teleportation array. If the Dark Cloud Sovereign and the Demon Moon Sovereign return to reinforce us, we will kill them immediately. Night Sorrow ordered once again. Yes, but no matter what, I must stay by Your Highness' side, Summer City said. His most important task was to ensure Night Sorrow's safety. Assisting him was secondary. Everyone left the Ninechong building and went their separate ways. The Qing Emperor's guards and the city guards used the official teleportation array. They used the 9 Heavens Realms interrealm teleportation array to attack the Demon Moon World and the Gray Cloud Sect. Night Sorrow asked both groups to bring message crystals. If they discovered the other party's sovereign or sovereign clone, they had to send a message immediately. The Qing Emperor's guards brought Fei Xiu's soul message crystal, while the city guards brought his own. Night Sorrow brought Summer City, Fei Xiu, and the 9 regions world's people and teleported to 7 Night City. Then they teleported to the Shantian City's interrealm teleportation array twice. Let's block this interrealm teleportation array now. Night Sorrow said after clearing the interrealm teleportation array that was guarded by a few small fries. Night Sorrow had calculated that when the Demon Moon World and the Gray Cloud Sect were attacked, the Demon Moon Sovereign and the Gray Cloud Sovereign would rush back to reinforce them. That would be the time to kill them. After blocking the teleportation array, Night Sorrow crushed the Black Sky Sovereign's soul crystal. As for whether the Black Sky Sovereign would come out or not, Night Sorrow wasn't sure. At this time, other than the interrealm teleportation array in Shantian City, everything else was damaged beyond recognition. It looks like the war is quite fierce, but it hasn't affected 7 Night City yet, Zhu Jiuyun said. There's nothing we can do about it. War is cruel. Bei Xing informed us in time, so we came early. They just started to advance. They only destroyed Shantian City, Night Sorrow said. Your Highness, don't worry. The final winner of the war is the key. If we win, someone will compensate for the losses, Summer City said coldly. Night Sorrow nodded. We'll have to trouble Uncle Summer and Captain Fei Xiu. The enemy's sovereign is here. Only Uncle Summer and Captain Fei Xiu can fight. Summer City and Fei Xiu saluted Night Sorrow. They had to guard this place now. Your Highness, be careful. If many opponents appear, it will be a chaotic battle. Summer City was still worried. Don't worry. Xueshi Jiuyun, go inform the Tianding King and Big Dipper King to come over. We'll block them here and fight. Night Sorrow instructed Xueshi and Zhu Jiuyun. Xia Qing silently praised him in his heart. This was talent. What had originally been a rather chaotic situation, Yi Shan had immediately found the crux of the matter. After Night Sorrow sent people to attack the Moon Demon World and the Grey Cloud Sect, he brought people to break the teleportation array. What would they do if the Moon Demon World and the Grey Cloud Sect couldn't hold on? They could only go back to help. That was a trap. As for the Heaven Mystic World, it couldn't be helped. Currently, the people from the various realms had just started fighting in the Heaven Mystic World. It didn't cause much damage to the Celestial Realm. Night Sorrow cared most about Seven Night City. Currently, Seven Night City was stable. If Seven Night City was attacked, Night Sorrow would know immediately. After a while, the Black Heaven Sovereign appeared. Night Sorrow, you're back. Hurry up and leave. The three sovereigns are attacking. We can't hold on. Hurry up and leave. The Black Heaven Sovereign reminded Night Sorrow anxiously. After that, he noticed Summer City and Fei Xiu. His eyes were filled with shock. I've already arranged people to attack the Grey Cloud Sect and the Moon Demon World. They will come back when they receive the news. We'll block them here and kill them when we see them. Night Sorrow's face was filled with killing intent. My soul clone was killed by them. After they destroyed the Black Heaven Imperial City, they advanced forward to destroy the Heaven Mystic World. They're forcing me to come out. I have no choice but to avoid the battle. The Black Heaven Sovereign didn't look too good because he was afraid of fighting. However, he had no choice. The other party was three sovereigns. This is nothing. The sovereigns are still improving their strength. There's no need to fight to the death with them. We just have to wait. In addition, send people to inform the forces under attack to not fight with them to avoid unnecessary casualties. Also, send people over. We'll fight here, Night Sorrow said to the Black Heaven Sovereign. The order to avoid the battle has been given. If we can't beat them, we can only conserve our strength. Actually, they're afraid because once I refine the soul cultivation liquid, they'll be in danger. The Black Heaven Sovereign's eyes were filled with anger. That's good. We'll wait for them to come back. The way they come back is a dead end. Night Sorrow narrowed his eyes and said. After that, the Black Heaven Sovereign told Night Sorrow that the Seven Rain Sovereigns wouldn't come. He and the Sea Wave Sovereign had discussed it. If they weren't a match for the other party, they should avoid the battle first. The Black Heaven Sovereign sent people to gather people. The group of them waited at the Interrealm Transportation Array for the other party's reinforcements. Night Sorrow wasn't worried about the battle strength of the Qing Emperor's guards and the city guards. Without the sovereigns in their way, they could wipe them out. Chapter 1144. Night Sorrow set up a few more arrays around the teleportation array. He told his people not to step in. The arrays might be ineffective against monarchs, but they could trap ordinary kings. This way they would have an advantage in battle. Yi Shang had deduced that the three sovereigns would lead troops from several worlds to attack the Heaven Profound World. However, after the Demon Moon World and the Grey Cloud Sect were attacked, the Demon Moon Sovereign and the Grey Cloud Sovereign would return as reinforcements. The remaining Sky Scorpion Sovereign would not dare to stay behind. It would be extremely dangerous for a sovereign to fight alone in the Heaven Profound World. Therefore, the three sovereigns would definitely return together. The final battle was, in fact, a battle where the other side would return to help and break through the seal. Soon, the Big Dipper King, the Tianding King, and the other kings arrived at the teleportation array under the mysterious Sky Monarch's orders. Shang Tianfeng was also there. Shang Tianfeng looked at Night Sorrow with eyes full of anger. What are you staring at? Do you believe that I won't kill you right now? Fei Xiu noticed Shang Tianfeng's gaze and immediately became angry. He glared at Night Sorrow. Not many people in the Qing Emperor's empire dared to do so. Shang Tianfeng noticed Fei Xiu but did not dare to say anything. He could not see through Fei Xiu's cultivation, so the gap was too big. He knew that Fei Xiu was not bragging when he said he would kill him. I have a big grudge with him. We can slowly resolve it in the future. Night Sorrow shook his head. He's just a piece of trash. Your Highness, there's no need to lower yourself. Let me deal with him. Summer City also did not like Shang Tianfeng. Uncle Summer, forget it. He has a family feud with me. There's no need to rush. Night Sorrow shook his head. The mysterious Sky Monarch looked at Shang Tianfeng and sighed in his heart. He knew that Shang Tianfeng's fate was already decided. There was no chance of him turning the tables, unless he abandoned the Tianan Empire and ran away. At this time the Grey Cloud Sect, the Demon Moon World, the Scorpio World, and the Allied forces were advancing. They were already very close to Big Dipper City. Ahead is the Big Dipper City, the territory of the Big Dipper King. Didn't the Mystic Sky Sovereign think highly of him? Let's wash his territory with blood first. If he doesn't run away, we'll kill him. The Tsangyun Sovereign's face was filled with killing intent. The Demon Moon Monarch, who was wearing a dark green battle robe, shuddered as a soul crystal in his sleeve shattered. A man's figure appeared. Monarch, this is bad. The Demon Moon World is under attack. This subordinate cannot hold on. What's the situation? Is it that bitch Hylon Monarch? Moon Monarch frowned. No, it's a king's team led by 3 high-level kings. Their cultivation levels are on par with mine. This team is made up of kings. Monarch, think of something. After the man finished his report, his soul clone disappeared. 3 high-level kings are leading a king's team. Our Demon Moon World cannot hold on. This seat must return. The Moon Monarch's expression was ugly. He did not understand what was going on. At this moment, the Grey Cloud Sovereign's expression changed as well. My Grey Cloud sect is under attack. The leader is also a high-level sovereign king. There are quite a few sovereign kings as well. This seat's non-combat doppelganger has just managed to escape. This seat must return now. Then let's go together. This seat must return to the Scorpio world to take a look. Where did so many experts come from? The black-robed Scorpio king, who was wagging his tail, said. After cultivating for countless years and reaching the Monarch realm, none of them were stupid. Even if the Tsangyun Sovereign and the Moon Monarch retreated and the Scorpio Sovereign stayed, they would not be able to do anything. Once the Mystic Sky Sovereign joined forces with any of the other monarchs to surround and kill him, he would be in danger of dying. Then let's go back and solve the problem first. We will return later. This time the 3 of us must get a share of the soul cultivation liquid. The Tsangyun Sovereign's face was filled with killing intent. He did not understand who was causing trouble at this moment. The Tsangyun Sovereign and the other 2 led their men and rushed towards the Mystic Heaven City's interworld transfer array. War did not allow the destruction of interworld transfer arrays. This was the rule of all worlds. The 9 Firmament World Group was like this, and so was the Paramount World Group. In the Mystic Heaven Imperial City, Bei Xing appeared at the interworld transfer array. Seeing the Mystic Sky Sovereign and the Big Dipper King, she was stunned for a moment. Then she hurriedly crushed a message crystal behind her. Monarch Hylon was very cautious. She told Bei Xing to crush her message crystal after seeing the Mystic Sky Sovereign. When the message crystal was crushed, a spiritual body appeared. It was a simple clone of Monarch Hylon. Looking around, Monarch Hylon cupped her hands towards the Mystic Sky Sovereign. These are the helpers that Night Sorrow brought. We must deal a heavy blow to them. The Mystic Sky Sovereign said to the confused Monarch Hylon. Okay, this seat will bring people over immediately. Monarch Hylon said. After a while, Monarch Hylon brought a few king subordinates to the interworld transfer array of the mysterious Sky World. Mystic Sky, these guys don't plan on letting you live. After dealing with the mysterious Sky World, the 7 Rain World and the Sea Wave World, which we have a better relationship with, will not rest. I don't know what's going on with the 7 Rain Monarch. Why isn't she coming? Monarch Hylon said after arriving. I gave her the soul cultivation liquid. She probably closed her spiritual consciousness and focused on improving her cultivation. Night Sorrow said. At this time there was no need to hide it from anyone. I see. But with our current strength, it's enough to deal with them. Monarch Hylon looked around, her heart full of shock. Monarch Hylon and the others knew that Night Sorrow went to the world of reincarnation to serve the Qing Emperor's empire for the 9 Firmament World Group. But now he had brought back so many experts. Not only her, but the Mystic Sky Sovereign was also very shocked. Night Sorrow, I didn't expect to be one step behind you. Long Jin looked at Night Sorrow and said. Just enter the king's realm. Night Sorrow said to Long Jin, who came with Monarch Hylon. At this time figures flashed. Many people appeared in the ordinary teleportation array not far from the world transfer array. They were the Tsangyun Monarch, the Moon Monarch and the Sky Scorpion Monarch. Fight! Night Sorrow roared. Your Highness, which one should I kill first? Summer City asked. He was doing things according to Night Sorrow's wishes. He would kill whoever Night Sorrow didn't like. The strongest one, Night Sorrow knew that Summer City was the strongest here, so he could only arrange it this way. He personally wanted to kill the Zhongyun monarch first. The Zhongyun monarch was too shameless. The result was in line with Night Sorrow's plan. Summer City raised his battle blade and appeared in front of the Zhongyun monarch in a flash. Your Highness wants you dead, so you have to die. Fei Xiu stood in front of the Moon monarch, his right hand hanging diagonally. He was also holding a battle blade. Who are you people? The Zhongyun monarch's face was solemn. The situation in front of him had exceeded his expectations. LV4 however, Xiahou didn't waste time talking nonsense with him. He raised his battle blade and slashed at the Zhongyun monarch. This blade was as heavy as 1,000 caddies, and the wind and clouds changed color. The speed of the blade wasn't fast, but it blocked all the Zhongyun monarch's escape routes. Chapter 1145. The Zhongyun monarch's expression changed drastically. He felt as if he was facing a huge mountain. No matter which direction he retreated to, he would be met with a saber strike. Unable to retreat, the Zhongyun monarch could only face Summer City's attack head-on. The Zhongyun monarch's weapon was a long sword. He brandished his long sword and stabbed towards Summer City's saber. Space shattered. Let's go. As the two weapons clashed, the area where the weapons clashed was filled with spatial cracks. The Zhongyun monarch was then pushed back a certain distance. Summer City held his saber with his right hand, and his body seemed to have changed positions. He was still at the same distance from the Zhongyun monarch. He slashed towards the Zhongyun monarch again. There was no way to dodge or escape. This was what the Zhongyun monarch felt at this moment. His opponent was too strong. Helpless, he could only use his sword to block the attack. However, he was still pushed back. The Zhongyun monarch's hair was sent flying, and the energy in his body was unstable. Xia Cheng's body once again moved absent-mindedly. When he reached a suitable distance, he once again slashed out with his saber. Universe's 7 kills. Let's see how many moves you can take. Summer City's voice was filled with contempt. The Zhongyun monarch was not his opponent at all. With a loud boom, the Zhongyun monarch's body was sent flying. Blood spurted from his mouth. 3 slashes. Summer City only used 3 slashes to send the Zhongyun monarch flying. The two of them were not on the same level at all. At this moment, Summer City's saber technique suddenly changed. He slashed his saber at an extremely fast speed. This saber seemed to carry the trajectory of the heavens, and the saber light slashed across the Zhongyun monarch's head. A red line appeared on the Zhongyun monarch's head, following which his body was split into 2. Summer City reached out and grabbed the Zhongyun monarch's interspatial ring and weapon. He then turned to look at Night Sorrow and said, I didn't kill him completely. He still has a clone or something like that. When a high-level cultivator killed an opponent, they would check whether the opponent's storage ring and weapon were ownerless or not. Since the soul imprint in the Zhongyun monarch's storage ring and weapon was still present, it meant that the Zhongyun monarch was still alive. Regardless of whether it's the original body or the doppelganger, it's a huge loss for him. That's enough. Night Sorrow nodded and turned to look at the battlefield. Right now the battle was completely one-sided. Fei Xiu and Monarch Sky Scorpio were fighting fiercely, completely suppressing Monarch Sky Scorpio. Monarch Black Heaven and Monarch Sea Billow joined forces to attack Monarch Demon Moon. Monarch Demon Moon was also in a difficult situation. The Tianding King, the Big Dipper King, and the king that the Sea Wave Monarch had brought with him started attacking the Zhongyun Monarch's men. Night Sorrow did not move from the beginning to the end because he was not needed. Your Highness, who else do you want to kill? Summer City was filled with killing intent. The outcome has been decided. Uncle Xia, you don't have to do anything. Night Sorrow shook his head. He was considering the fact that the other sovereigns had their own opponents. If Summer City were to fight now, it would be an unfair victory, and it would hurt the other sovereign's reputation. After the Demon Moon Monarch could not withstand the pressure, his body swayed and a doppelganger appeared. The doppelganger blocked the Sea Wave Monarch while the original body charged towards the Black Heaven Monarch. Originally, the Black Heaven Monarch was slightly stronger than the Sea Wave Monarch. However, the Black Heaven Monarch's doppelganger had just been destroyed by the others. The Black Heaven Monarch's original body was still affected. After charging at the Black Heaven Monarch a few times, the Demon Moon Monarch's body flashed and he wanted to escape. The most important thing now was to stay alive. He had seen what happened to the Zhongyun Monarch. If he could not escape, he would end up worse than the Zhongyun Monarch. The Zhongyun Monarch was not completely dead, but his original body and doppelganger were here. The Demon Moon Monarch was extremely fast. In a few flashes he reached the inter-realm transfer array. If you want to run, leave something behind. Seeing that the Black Heaven Monarch could not stop the Demon Moon Monarch from escaping, Summer City waved his saber again. Block. The Demon Moon Monarch threw out a blue array disc. With a swing of his arm, a Saint Spirit Stone was embedded in the inter-realm transfer array. Shatter. The blue array disc was shattered by Summer City's saber aura. The saber aura continued to slash towards the Demon Moon Monarch. The Demon Moon Monarch's expression changed drastically. He waved the long sword in his hand to block Summer City's saber. The inter-realm transfer array had been activated. This was his only chance to escape. With a crisp sound, the Demon Moon Monarch's long sword was knocked aside. He was unwilling to leave the inter-realm transfer array, but he could not withstand it. This was the result. After knocking the Demon Moon Monarch's long sword aside, Summer City's saber aura continued to fly and cut off the Demon Moon Monarch's waist and one of his thighs. The inter-realm transfer array took away the Demon Moon Monarch's miserable cries and half of his body. Too bad I didn't kill him. Summer City snorted coldly. He did not chase after the Demon Moon Monarch because he had to protect Night Sorrow. Don't worry. He's probably afraid of death now. He won't dare to come out easily, Night Sorrow said. At this time, the Sea Wave Monarch and the Black Heaven Monarch had also killed the Demon Moon Monarch's doppelganger. Then, the two of them entered the King's battle group and started to kill the King's group that was formed by the Demon Moon Domain, the Grey Cloud Sect, and the Sky Scorpion Domain. As for the other peak battle group, it was the battle between Fei Xiu and the Sky Scorpion Sovereign. The Sky Scorpion Sovereign was very strong, but he was completely suppressed by Fei Xiu and was severely injured. It was only a matter of time before he was killed. At this time, the transfer array flashed and the Divine Night Sovereign appeared. Seeing this scene, he sighed because he could not stop it. Divine Night Sovereign, I was bewitched. Please help me talk to the Divine Night Sovereign. The Sky Scorpion Sovereign, who was in a sorry state, shouted at the Divine Night Sovereign. The Divine Night Sovereign's appearance gave him hope to live. If no one talked to him, he would definitely die. If you knew this would happen, why did you do it in the first place? Now Night Sorrow is in charge. I can't do anything about it. The Divine Night Sovereign was helpless. Back then he had tried to persuade him but failed. Night Sorrow, state your conditions. The Sky Scorpion Domain is willing to pay the compensation. If there is a war in the Sky Profound World in the future, the Sky Scorpion Domain will definitely fight. I am not the mastermind. The Sky Scorpion Sovereign shouted. Night Sorrow, why don't we listen to his explanation? If he can give a perfect explanation, then we can talk. The Divine Night Sovereign looked at Night Sorrow and said. He also did not want the 9 Firmament World Group to lose too much strength. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and waved his arm. Fei Xiu and the others retreated. State your conditions. Night Sorrow looked at the Sky Scorpion Sovereign and said. Compensation, I am willing to pay the compensation. Also, if there is a war in the Sky Profound World, I will definitely help. The Sky Scorpion Sovereign said. Xiantian Sovereign, what do you think? Night Sorrow looked at the Xiantian Sovereign and asked. You make the decision. I have no objections. The Xiantian Sovereign nodded at Night Sorrow. They were able to win this war because of Night Sorrow. He naturally had to respect Night Sorrow. Then let's sign the oath. The Sky Scorpion Domain will be dealt with like this for the time being. The Demon Moon Domain and Ashen Cloud Sect still need to be dealt with. Fei Xiu, go to the Demon Moon Domain and meet up with the Qing Emperor's guards. The rest of you follow me to the Ashen Cloud Sect. This time I will raise the Ashen Cloud Sect to the ground. Night Sorrow made his decision. The Ashen Cloud Sovereign and the Demon Moon Sovereign did not have any bottom line. Therefore Night Sorrow would not give them another chance. Chapter 1146. Your Highness, don't worry. Resources. Collect all the resources and bring them to the 9 grand floors, Night Sorrow said to Fei Xiu. Fei Xiu bowed and left the mysterious sky world using the interrealm teleportation formation. After watching Lord Xiantian and Lord Sky Scorpio sign the oath, Night Sorrow brought Summer City and the people around him to the Sky Dome world. Lord Divine Night was a little stunned. He didn't expect this outcome. Originally, in his estimation, the Celestial Wonders world would be attacked as the Lord of the Xian Heaven avoided the Soul Cultivation liquid. After a few years, the Lord of the Xian Heaven cultivated the Soul Cultivation liquid, then the situation would change. But now he could not react in time. Sky Scorpio, you have disappointed me this time, Lord Divine Knight said to Lord Sky Scorpio. In order to increase my strength, Sky Scorpio is a little obsessed. It won't happen again in the future, Lord Sky Scorpio bowed. Lord Divine Knight nodded and left. He knew that the situation in the 9 Cloud World group would change greatly. Night Sorrow could control the situation. After Lord Purple Cloud obtained the Soul Cultivation liquid, he told Lord Divine Knight. From this, Lord Divine Knight knew that other lords of the 9 Cloud World had obtained the Soul Cultivation liquid. These lords owed Night Sorrow a big favor. In the future, if Night Sorrow had anything to say, they would support him unconditionally. Lord Divine Knight was very clear about the situation. 9 Cloud World had an independent position in the 9 Cloud World group because he had refined the Soul Cultivation liquid and was stronger than the other lords. In the future, this situation would no longer be the case. Besides, he also felt the terror of Summer City. He wasn't a match for them. After Night Sorrow brought his people to the Ashen Cloud sect, they started attacking. Those who resisted were killed. Those who didn't resist were taken. The Ashen Cloud sect ruled most of the Sky Dome world. Night Sorrow and the others started a realm war. There was no resistance, as resistance meant that they would be killed. Because Night Sorrow and the others had acted quickly, not many of the Grey Cloud sect's resources could be transferred. Almost all of them had fallen into Night Sorrow's hands. When he killed his way to the headquarters of the Grey Cloud sect, Night Sorrow met an acquaintance, Jianghu, the very arrogant person from back then. Night Sorrow took out Sky Splitter and finished him off in a few moments. The two of them were on completely different levels. Back then they had both been half-step kings, but now Night Sorrow was a 2-star king. The difference was too great and Jianghu did not have the ability to resist. After that, Night Sorrow plundered the resources of the Grey Cloud sect's headquarters. Captain Shinhan, take some people to the Grey Cloud sect's branch and collect all the resources, Night Sorrow instructed. This was war. When the people of several worlds attacked the Profound Heaven world and the Shantian Imperial Court, they did not hold back. It was a bloodbath. Night Sorrow and Summer City stayed at the Grey Cloud sect's headquarters. Night Sorrow was not worried about the people of the Demon Moon world. It was hard to say if the Demon Moon world lord would return. Even if he did, he might not dare to come out. Besides, so what if the Demon Moon monarch came out? He was not a match for Facio. Even if he came out, he would be killed. Every day, news would be reported to Night Sorrow. Every day, there would be small captains of the City Guard army coming to deliver resources to Night Sorrow. Half a month after Night Sorrow set up camp, no beginning sovereign came. Ignoring sovereign brought black wind with him. At this moment, Qin Bai and Qing Yin were still cultivating. Although he was unhappy, Night Sorrow still received him. As if he could feel Night Sorrow's dissatisfaction, no beginning sovereign looked apologetic. After receiving the resources you gave me, my original body closed its spiritual consciousness and cultivated. My clone went to another world. Therefore, I did not make it in time to stop the Grey Cloud sect. Night Sorrow, it's true. I need materials. I need a material to cultivate a special clone. Master went to help me with this matter and is not in the Sky Dome world, Black Wind said to Night Sorrow. So that's the case. Then I misunderstood. Men serve tea, Night Sorrow shouted. In fact, Night Sorrow was unhappy. He had given a few sovereigns the soul cultivation liquid, but no one came to help the Profound Heaven world at the crucial moment. Genuine initialer, no matter what, I am sorry, no beginning sovereign apologized again. No matter who gets the soul cultivation liquid, they will put everything aside to cultivate. They will do everything to increase their strength. At this stage they do not want to be disturbed. Night Sorrow nodded. Some things were just emotions. However, he understood that anyone who got the soul cultivation liquid would make such a decision. Night Sorrow, I have another request this time. It is about the Grey Cloud sect. I don't care about the resources. However, the Sky Dome world needs stability, no beginning sovereign said as he stood up. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow nodded. All right, I will ask my men to withdraw. You can take over the Grey Cloud sect. I thank you here. Here are some resources from Boundless Mountain. Consider it compensation. No beginning sovereign took out 2 storage rings and placed them in front of Night Sorrow. There is no need. Boundless Mountain cannot bear the consequences of the Grey Cloud Sovereign's sins. However, I do not wish for the Grey Cloud Sovereign to cause any more trouble. Night Sorrow shook his head. He did not accept the resources. What I can guarantee is that he will not be allowed to form any more forces in the Sky Dome world, no beginning sovereign promised. No beginning sovereign left the Grey Cloud sect's headquarters with his disciples and the resources that Night Sorrow refused. There is no big trouble. If there is, I will not be able to answer to him. After leaving the Grey Cloud sect's headquarters, No beginning sovereign sighed. How long has it been? This fellow is doing so well. The strength of his subordinates is so strong. Haifeng's face was filled with shock. They used to be friends. However, the gap between them was too big. He did not even have the chance to speak. Fate. Back then, he went to the world of reincarnation to serve the Azure Imperial Dynasty for the sake of the Nine Firmament World Group. That's why he had another fate. He fought for the Nine Firmament World Group, which means that he was blessed with good karma and luck. There's no benefit in fighting against him. That old man beside him is an absolute expert. That Songyun Sovereign's true body was killed. What survived should be a secret technique clone. Although it can still survive, it won't be able to improve much in the future. Moon Demon Realm Lord also suffered great losses this time. No beginning sovereign also disliked the Grey Cloud Sovereign. For the sake of the Sky Dome world's strength, he had been enduring. Now he had fallen. This old fellow is usually too arrogant. This time he kicked an iron plate. The only good thing is that he is sharpening his head. Serves him right. Haifeng scolded. Go back and enter seclusion. Work hard. Originally you were the same. Now look at the difference. No beginning sovereign glanced at Haifeng. Night Sorrow stood in front of the Grey Cloud sect's headquarters and thought. He felt that the Grey Cloud Sovereign was still a scourge. Chapter 1147. Your Highness, it's no trouble at all. We'll kill whoever dares to fight us. Summer City's words were very domineering, and so were his people. It's easy to dodge a stab in the dark, but hard to guard against a stab in the dark. Not being able to kill those two fellows this time will always be a disaster. They are sovereigns and they all have tempers. They might not be able to take this lying down, Night Sorrow said. The Grey Cloud Sovereign and the Moon Devil Sovereign had suffered great losses this time, but after recovering they might think of ways to take revenge. This was all possible. Summer City didn't say anything. He agreed with this point, but there was no good way to solve it now. The sovereigns were hiding and there was no way to find them. Thank you, Uncle Summer. Otherwise, it would have been very difficult to get through this. Even if I attacked their world, I wouldn't be able to solve the root of the crisis. Night Sorrow bowed to Summer City. Summer City shook his head. He knew that even if Night Sorrow didn't use the power of the world of reincarnation, the crisis of the Heaven Profound world would only last a few hundred years. Uncle Summer, I asked if you needed elixirs last time, but I didn't ask if you needed the soul cultivation liquid, Night Sorrow said. I don't need it. I've used it with His Majesty. Summer City shook his head. After staying for a few days, the matter of the Grey Cloud sect was settled. Night Sorrow brought the city guards and the people around him back to Seven Night City. Grey Cloud sect had Boundless Mountain to deal with the aftermath, but the Moon Devil world couldn't. Fei Xiu still had to bring the Qing Emperor's guards to kill in the Moon Devil world and collect resources. Night Sorrow stayed in Seven Night City and didn't have much to do. The Black Heaven Sovereign arranged for Chen Zhenyu to rebuild the Black Heaven Sovereign City. He also stayed in Seven Night City. Although he was in a hurry to cultivate, he didn't mind spending a few days here and there. He was very grateful to Night Sorrow. It was Night Sorrow's soul cultivation liquid that gave the Black Heaven Sovereign a chance to rise. Now that there was a problem, it was Night Sorrow who solved it, saving him from having to hide. Night Sorrow considered letting his main body cultivate in the Nine Heavens Pagoda later. If his main body's cultivation did not increase, then the Nine Domains world's tribulation would never be resolved. As for Night Sorrow's decision, Summer City did not comment on it. He was also in a difficult position. He was protecting Night Sorrow, but both Night Sorrow's original body and doppelganger required protection. He had no time to protect both of them. Summer City was a stubborn person. He felt that the strength of the main body was the most important, so for the past countless years, he had not cultivated a clone. In half a month's time, Fei Xiu brought the Qing Emperor's guard back to Seven Night City. The Demon Moon world was completely destroyed by him. Night Sorrow held a celebratory feast. This was a big event, so a celebratory feast had to be held. Night Sorrow sat with his family and drank casually. He was very relaxed. Sometimes, things just happened so suddenly that they were not expected at all. Qing Lin came and he did not come alone. He brought a large group of people with him. There were also a few old men beside him. Crown Prince Qing Lin, how come you have time to come here? Night Sorrow felt that something was wrong. He felt that Qing Lin did not come with good intentions. Brother Yi, you have disappointed me. The Qing Emperor's Guard and the city guards are the power of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. They are in the Nine Heavens Pagoda to protect you, but they have to fight for the Qing Emperor's dynasty. What are you doing? Bringing the power of the Qing Emperor's dynasty to protect you and rob people? Qing Lin's words were filled with pity at the beginning, but he was shouting at the end. Knight Sorrow's hometown is under attack. His Highness came back to fight. As a subordinate, I naturally have to protect him. Summer City stepped forward and said, Commander Xia, you don't have to get involved in this matter. Today, I came here with the supervisor of the Overwatch Council of the Qing Emperor Palace to deal with this matter, Sheng Wanhong said, his long and narrow eyes shining brightly. You should assist your crown prince. Knight Sorrow's matter is none of your business, Summer City said coldly. I usually assist the crown prince, but I am also the master of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. I am in charge of the Overwatch Council. The master's order was given by His Majesty. The crown prince is the head of the princes and has the responsibility to control the two princes and the princes. Summer City, are you going to go against His Majesty's order? Sheng Wanhong took out a white jade plate from his sleeve. It was his master's order. How old is this plate? You are using it to scare me? Summer City's sword appeared in his hand. No matter how old it is His Majesty's order. Are you going to defy His Majesty? Sheng Wanhong folded his arms and held the master's order in front of him. He wouldn't fight Summer City because he was at a disadvantage. He wanted to use the Qing Emperor's power to suppress Summer City. So what? His Majesty is His Majesty, but he is also my elder brother. Today I will offend him. Summer City's hair stood on end. He was about to start a fight. Uncle Xia, let me take care of this. Knight Sorrow pulled Summer City's sleeve. Your Highness, they're going to set you up. Summer City couldn't hold back his anger. +4 forever and forever unspecified currency, free Z watch, set me up? They dare to kill me? Knight Sorrow smiled. As long as they can detain you, they will have achieved their goal. Summer City looked at Knight Sorrow and said, That's right. Commander Xia is a wise man, Sheng Wanhong said with a smile. In the Qing Emperor's dynasty, without the Qing Emperor who could kill Knight Sorrow, no one could do that. Sheng Wanhong's suggestion to Qing Lin was to use righteousness to restrict and detain Yi Shang, and then take him back with great fanfare. This would cause Yi Shang's reputation to hit rock bottom. Even if he was released as soon as he was imprisoned, it would be enough. Sheng Wanhong didn't dare to do this, but when he was chatting with Xian Daozi, he accidentally learned that the Qing Emperor's intention for the princes to fight was to rely on their own abilities. The loser would survive. That was why he dared to do this. Uncle Xia, detaining me is just a blow to my reputation. This is nothing compared to the friendship and trust between Uncle Xia and His Majesty. I admit to detaining you. Knight Sorrow looked at Summer City and said, Your Highness. As long as Your Highness doesn't agree, no one can detain you. Summer City didn't give up. Your Highness Qing Lin, since you made the first move, I'll take it as a show of respect to His Majesty's children. After this, I won't have any scruples. Knight Sorrow really wanted to say, The head of the princes is sandalwood. You don't have the right to say that. Brother Knight, how can you say that? I'm taking you back. I didn't say anything about doing anything to you. There's no need to be so extreme. Qing Lin still had a smile on his face. You're not magnanimous enough. Today's matter will become your inner demon. Put away your face. Since they had already shed all pretense of cordiality, Yi Shang's words were not polite. Men, take him. Qing Lin's face twitched as he gave the order. Who dares? I will bring His Highness Knight Sorrow to His Majesty. You don't have the right, Xia Hoi said, waving his sword. Summer City, what are you doing? Are you looking down on His Majesty's master's order to manage the Overwatch Council? Sheng Wanhong turned around. He didn't use any energy and the master's order was pointed at Summer City. Uncle Xia, it's nothing. Knight Sorrow looked at Sheng Wanhong with a murderous look in his eyes. This kind of person was the most sinister. Now he had found his and Summer City's weakness. Chapter 1148. At this time, an old man from the Overwatch Council stepped forward and chained Knight Sorrow with a barbed chain. I'm sorry, Your Highness. As the old man apologized, he tightened the chain in his hand. He was Qing Lin's confidant, so naturally he would work for him. Die. Summer City roared and swung his sword. The old man was killed without any resistance. Commander Xia, are you rebelling? Qing Lin's expression changed. You can say that to His Majesty. If you don't have His Majesty's token, then be careful with your words and actions. Summer City put away his sword and looked at Qing Lin without respect. In the past he had respected Crown Prince Qing Lin. Now that he saw Qing Lin's face, his attitude changed. Men, arrest the Qing Emperor's guards and the city guards of 9-story tower. Qing Lin, who was embarrassed by Summer City's words, gave another order. How dare you? Even if there was a mistake this time, it was my personal mistake. Who dares to touch the people of 9-story tower? Everyone in 9-story tower, listen up. I admit to detaining them. Anyone who moves will be killed. I will bear the responsibility. Knight Sorrow was furious when he heard that Qing Lin was going to attack the people of 9-story tower. Your Highness, forget it. His Highness Knight Sorrow said it was his responsibility. Just take His Highness Knight Sorrow back. Shengguan Hong said to Qing Lin. He felt that the result of today's battle was pretty good. It was enough to detain Yi Shang. If they had fought, it would have been a big problem. Qing Lin Crown Prince was looking for trouble today. Then I'll give you face. Qing Lin looked at Knight Sorrow and said, Master, are you done with your work? Summer City asked. Yes. Thank you for His Highness Knight Sorrow and Commander Xia's cooperation. I'm done with my work. Shengguan Hong's cold face had a smile because everything went smoothly. With Knight Sorrow's insistence, Summer City didn't get in the way. That means you don't represent His Majesty. Then die. Summer City drew his sword and slashed at Shengguan Hong. Your Highness, quickly find His Majesty to stop him. He's gone mad. Shengguan Hong split himself into several shadows and dodged in all directions. He knew that he could not fight against the forces of Summer City. He had to find Qing Emperor to stop them. Qing Lin agreed. He didn't forget to ask his men to catch Knight Sorrow. Then he went to the transmitting formation and teleported to Xintian City. Then he led his men to the world of Samsara. Seven Night City had a realm teleportation formation, but it was not open to the public at the moment. When Qing Lin brought people here, they also used Xintian City's teleportation formation. Taking Knight Sorrow to the world of Samsara, Qing Lin told the people of the Overwatch Council to take Knight Sorrow to the busiest street, parade it a few times, and then throw him into the Devil Ceiling Tower. After giving instructions to the people of the Overwatch Council, Qing Lin went to the Qingtian Pavilion in the Qing Emperor Palace. He was also anxious. If Shengguan Hong was really killed by Xia City, he would lose a big arm. After Qing Lin left, an old man of the Overwatch Council sighed, Your Highness, I'm sorry. I'm Bai Han, a judge of the Overwatch Council. Today Master came here with Master's order. We can only do things according to His Majesty's rules. It's okay. You're just following orders. I don't care about this. Knight Sorrow shook his head. I'll report this to His Majesty. You take His Highness to the Devil Ceiling Tower through the most secluded road. Bai Han told the people of the Overwatch Council and then left. Bai Han and the people of the Overwatch Council knew what exactly happened today. They didn't want to participate in the fight for His Highness. Today Shengguan Hong had Master's order. They couldn't do anything. Now that Qing Lin was gone, they naturally didn't want to offend Knight Sorrow too much. The people of the Overwatch Council took Knight Sorrow to the Devil Ceiling Tower and handed him over to the Qing Emperor's guard. Forever. In the Qing Emperor's dynasty, key places were guarded by the Qing Emperor's guard. The Devil Ceiling Tower was one of them. Ordinary prisoners weren't qualified to be locked up here. Only prisoners sent by the Overwatch Council were accepted by the Qing Emperor's guard. The leader of the Qing Emperor's guard who knew Knight Sorrow looked at Knight Sorrow with surprise and then anger. Your Highness, what's going on? No one can put shackles on you except His Majesty. You people of the Overwatch Council are crazy. It's nothing. They can't help it. Take me in. Can I go to the 9th floor? The other floors are wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Of course. The leader of the Qing Emperor's guard glanced at the people of the Overwatch Council, then took Knight Sorrow to the 9th floor of the Devil Ceiling Tower. Only Sandalwood was locked up on the 9th floor of the Devil Ceiling Tower, but there were cells. Knight Sorrow glanced at Sandalwood, who was cultivating, and entered the meteorite cell. Crown Prince Qing Lin arrived at the Azure Sky Pavilion, but the Qing Emperor didn't summon him. He paced back and forth anxiously. When he saw Bai Han, Qing Lin's eyes were filled with confusion. He had ordered the Overwatch Council to parade Knight Sorrow through the streets, but Bai Han had arrived as soon as he did. Just as Qing Lin was about to question him, Xian Daozi let them in. What's the matter? The Qing Emperor didn't even open his eyes as he sat on the prayer mat. The Master and Commander Xia are fighting. The Master has asked me to invite Father over, Qinglin said. Qinglin said. At this moment he was very nervous. He had overstepped his authority by attacking Yishang. It was normal for Emperor Qing to punish him. Before this, he and Shang Guanhong had thought that it was worth it to damage Yishang's reputation and solidify his position as the First Majesty. They're fighting. Who went to see who? The Qing Emperor asked. The Master went to see Commander Xia, Qinglin said. He didn't dare lie about this, and no one dared to lie in front of the Qing Emperor. If he went to see Summer City, then he should have prepared himself. He shouldn't have come to invite me. Take it on yourself. The Qing Emperor huffed coldly. After asking who went to see who, the Qing Emperor knew who was looking for trouble. Since Shang Guanhong was looking for trouble, he had to bear the consequences. Father, please step in and stop this. Otherwise, it will have a great impact on the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Qinglin knelt on the ground. He was a bit worried. If Shang Guanhong was killed, then the power of his subordinates would be greatly reduced. Your Majesty, they're all old people. Should we bring them back to deal with them? If this goes on for too long, I'm afraid Shang Guanhong won't be able to handle it, Xian Daozi said quietly. Qinglin lead the way. Xian Daozi, you go with him. Tell Summer City that I will give him justice. The Qing Emperor thought for a moment and waved his hand. Xian Daozi took Qinglin and left the Qing Emperor's palace. Baihan, why did you come to the Azure Sky Pavilion instead of your Overwatch Council? The Qing Emperor looked at Baihan and asked. I had no choice. The Overwatch Council was the first to bear the brunt of this storm. The Master has the Master's order that your Majesty personally gave to us. The Overwatch Council has to follow orders, Baihan said, kneeling on the ground. You're very resourceful. Otherwise, Summer City wouldn't have gone crazy. Tell me, what did you do to my disciple? The Qing Emperor knew what was going on and asked directly. I followed orders and took him into the Devil's Ceiling Tower, Baihan said quietly. His face was covered in sweat. Chapter 1149. If Summer City doesn't want to, no one can detain Night Sorrow. What exactly happened? Qing Emperor looked at Baihan. There were some things he couldn't understand. Master took the Master's order and said that if Commander Xia tried to stop him, he wouldn't be giving His Majesty any face and would be offending His Majesty. But Commander Xia said that your Majesty is not only your Majesty, but also his elder brother. It doesn't matter if he offends your Majesty once. It's just that your Majesty Night Sorrow doesn't allow Commander Xia to do so. Baihan recounted the entire matter. You can't come see this emperor if you have something you can't do? Next time you're so brainless I'll twist your head off. Qing Emperor glared at Baihan, stood up, and left the Azure Sky Pavilion. Night Sorrow entered the 9th floor of the Devil's Ceiling Tower. Qing Emperor's guard took off the chains on his body and threw them to the side. Even so, Night Sorrow's robes were full of holes from the barbs. He was in a sorry state. Your Highness, His Majesty will know about such a big matter very soon. Just wait for a moment. Qing Emperor's guard said with a smile. Night Sorrow nodded. It's nothing much. Commander, you can go back to your work. The commander nodded and left the cell. The cell door still had to be locked. After all, this was the Devil's Ceiling Tower. The rules had to be followed. Someone, go inform His Majesty Night Sorrow to get a few jars of good wine to accompany me. Not long after Night Sorrow sat down, a roar came from the cell next door. Qing Emperor's guard was very embarrassed. Normally it wouldn't be a problem, but now. Night Sorrow was in the cell. Senior brother. Eldest senior brother, I'm here. Night Sorrow stood in front of the railing and replied. On the 9th floor of the Devil's Ceiling Tower, 3 sides of the cell were meteoric iron walls and one side was meteoric iron railing. Night Sorrow and Sandalwood couldn't see each other. Ah! What kind of trouble did you get yourself into? Tell me. Night Sorrow's reply was Sandalwood's hearty laughter. Eldest senior brother, this is your fault. How can you still laugh when I'm locked up? Night Sorrow retorted. Why can't I laugh? Master definitely doesn't know that you've been locked in here. Once Master knows, you'll be released. Besides, eldest senior brother is here. Later, eldest senior brother will personally take you out. Someone, inform His Majesty that I, Sandalwood, have recovered. If it's recovered, it's recovered. Is there a need to shout so loudly? Qing Emperor's figure appeared in the Devil's Ceiling Tower's dungeon. Although his face was as calm as an ancient well, he was the only one who knew the fluctuations in his heart. Godfather, Sandalwood has recovered. Sandalwood's voice was choked with emotion. Did you stop calling me godfather after I had other children? Qing Emperor stood between Sandalwood and Night Sorrow's cells. After leaving the Devil Sealing Tower, you're still my master. I originally wanted to invite junior brother Night Sorrow to drink some wine in the Devil Sealing Tower and then leave this damned place. But look at this. Sandalwood gripped the metal bars and looked at Qing Emperor. Someone let the two of them out. Also set up a banquet here. The three of us will drink here. Qing Emperor ordered the leader of the Qing Emperor's guard. Sandalwood and Night Sorrow were released. Night Sorrow, look at you. Your eldest senior brother has been with me for countless years. Apart from this time when his body was in trouble, no one dared to say a word to him. But look at you. You've only been under my tutelage for a short while and you've already been thrown into the dungeon, Qing Emperor said as he sat down on the chair brought over by the leader of the Qing Emperor's guard. This disciple will work hard in the future. I won't disappoint you, master, Night Sorrow said with a bow. Don't you have anything to say? Qing Emperor asked again. There's nothing to say. You should know by now, master. Night Sorrow shook his head. Qing Emperor smiled. I've only had 2 personal disciples in my lifetime. You 2 should be the only ones. I'm well aware of your personalities. Sandalwood, you lead the 9 Heavens army in battle, but you don't have any official position in the Qing Emperor's palace. I understand why. Night Sorrow, I also understand why you didn't resist this time. But do you know what I'm thinking? Qing Emperor then explained his thoughts to his 2 disciples. The Qing Emperor's dynasty might not necessarily be his heir, but the heir had to be capable. Only then would the Qing Emperor's dynasty be stable. 4. Forever exempt from fee. See little understrick. Night Sorrow and Sandalwood bowed. They understood Qing Emperor's thoughts. Sandalwood, what do you plan to do after you leave? Qing Emperor asked. The world is so big. I want to travel around. But before I leave, I'll stay with junior brother for a few days and help him with some matters. Then I'll serve the world sovereign for a while. Master, I'm sorry. Although I haven't known junior brother for a long time, I admire him more, Sandalwood said. He was expressing his support for Night Sorrow. You've been suppressing yourself for too long. You should relax. Let's drink. Qing Emperor nodded. He understood that Sandalwood wanted to support Night Sorrow, but he didn't dislike it. While the 3 of them were drinking, Xian Daozi, Summer City, Shengguanhong, and the Crown Prince arrived. Xian Daozi wanted to say something, but Qing Emperor waved his sleeves and stopped him. He continued drinking with Sandalwood and Night Sorrow. In the blink of an eye, the wine brought by Qing Emperor's guards was gone. Master, senior brother, I still have wine here. Yishang stood up and opened the bottles of wine he had brought with him. After opening all of them, Night Sorrow's expression changed. He directly covered one of the wine jugs. This is the wrong one. Sandalwood reached out and snatched it. Then he sniffed it. It's full of yang qi. Why are you drinking this wine? Qing Emperor and the others also looked at Night Sorrow. This is the dragon root of a 5-clawed pterosaur that I obtained when I was at the Void Inquiry stage. I used it to brew wine and planned to strengthen my body. However, I really didn't drink it. Night Sorrow explained embarrassedly. Sandalwood confiscated the wine jugs. Qing Emperor smiled but did not say anything. After drinking 2 more jugs of wine, Qing Emperor stood up. Xian Daozi has issued an order to remove Shengguanhong from his position as the great teacher. From today onwards, he will face the wall and reflect on his mistakes. Qing Emperor pointed at the prison cell behind Night Sorrow. The muscles on Shengguanhong's face twitched. He bowed and said yes. You can fight and snatch. Shengguanhong, you shouldn't have used the feelings of the people around me. You are blaspheming the relationship between us old friends. Qing Emperor's tone was very calm but there was disappointment in it. Shengguanhong knows his mistake. I am willing to accept the punishment. Shengguanhong bowed and entered the prison cell. At this moment, Qing Emperor looked at Summer City. Your Majesty, Summer City did nothing wrong. He is a shameless person who blackmailed me. I just want to teach him a lesson. Summer City spoke. There was still anger on his face. Summer City, you said that I am still your elder brother. Then, as your elder brother, I will ask you a few questions. Shengguanhong has no bottom line and used the feelings of us old friends. However, does he have the intention to kill you? He has never had the intention to kill anyone, including Night Sorrow. He knows that if he has the intention to kill, none of us will accept him anymore. However, you have the intention to kill him. Qing Emperor looked at Summer City. At this moment, Shengguanhong, who was in the prison cell, knelt down in front of Qing Emperor. It was because Qing Emperor had spoken his mind. It also meant that Qing Emperor was only punishing him and had not given up on him. The 5th chapter has arrived. Today I was injected with 4 bottles of fluids. Even now I still feel dizzy. However, I did not owe any chapters. Not today and not in the future. The 5th chapter has arrived. Chapter 1150. Elder brother is right. I was angry at the time and wanted to teach him a lesson. As for whether or not I wanted to kill him, I'm not sure. Summer City bowed. Sheng Guanhong was the one who started the fight, so he was in the wrong. I imprisoned him to give you an explanation. However, since you were so ruthless to your brother, you need to wake up. This is a book we used to read. Go study it, copy it, and send it to the Qing Emperor's palace. Then you can return to the 9 grand floors. The Qing Emperor tossed a book to Summer City. Summer City took the book and entered the Devil Ceiling Tower's dungeon. Xian Daozi, I'll make Sandalwood the Imperial Sky Overseer of the Qing Emperor's Imperial Sky Overseer. She has the authority to act first and report later. Night Sorrow, leave the Qinghuan army and await your orders. Also, Sheng Guanhong, you can leave whenever you feel like it's time. The Qing Emperor left the Devil Ceiling Tower after that. From the beginning to the end, the Qing Emperor ignored Qing Lin. Uncle Summer, I'll stay here with you. Night Sorrow looked at Summer City apologetically. Your Highness, please go back first. This subordinate must take a look at this book and then make a copy. Sheng Guanhong, today it was Xia Cheng who was ruthless to you. It was Xia Cheng who let my brother down. Xia Cheng shouted towards the cell next door. Summer City, you're humiliating me. I, Sheng Guanhong, am heartless and unscrupulous. I took advantage of my brother's feelings. Sheng Guanhong shouted hysterically. All right, we'll come pick up Uncle Summer tomorrow, Sandalwood said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that Summer City needed peace at a time like this. The group left the Devil Ceiling Tower. Sunshine, I, Sandalwood, have seen the light of day again. Standing outside the Devil Ceiling Tower, Sandalwood stretched out her arms and roared towards the sky. Congratulations, Your Highness, Xian Daozi said with a smile. Uncle Xian Daozi has been by my master's side for millions of years. I should be the one thanking you. Sandalwood nodded at Xian Daozi. Qing Lin also cupped his fists towards Sandalwood. He knew that the situation was getting out of hand, but he could not afford to offend Sandalwood. Let's not talk about this anymore. Night Sorrow, let's go to your 9 grand floors for a drink, Sandalwood said after glancing at Qing Lin. Night Sorrow nodded and brought Sandalwood to the 9 Chong building. The 9-layered heavens. This place has been empty for countless years. Back then, Master didn't even allow me to stay here. That's how much Master values you. Sandalwood smiled at Night Sorrow as she stood in front of the 9-story tower. I understand. I will not disappoint Master and Senior Brother in the future. Night Sorrow looked at Sandalwood and said, Junior Apprentice Brother, during these years when I was in the Devil Ceiling Pagoda, other than you, there were 6 other people who came to see me. Master, he thought I didn't know, but how could I not know? I can smell Master's aura with my nose. This is also the reason why I didn't end my own life and was able to persevere. Other than that, the 4 generals of the 9 Heavens army also went their separate ways. As for the last one, you will know later. Sandalwood took out a large flag from his storage ring. With a wave of his right hand, the flag flew up and planted itself in a corner of the 9-layered heavens. Senior Apprentice Brother, what are you doing? Night Sorrow was puzzled. The 9 Heavens war flag, the flag of the 9 Heavens army. Back in the day, this war flag caused all the enemies of the Qing Emperor's dynasty to tremble in fear. Today I am giving it to you. Sandalwood looked at Night Sorrow and said, Senior Apprentice Brother, I don't want to fight for anything. Night Sorrow looked at the 9 Heavens war flag and said, I know, but you are the most suitable. As your Senior Apprentice Brother, I have a few requests for you. Use your strength to protect your territory, don't use it for internal strife. Also, don't kill Master's children. Sandalwood looked at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood that this was the reason why the Qing Emperor liked Sandalwood. He would not make things difficult for the Qing Emperor. Put the war flag here and let's see what it does. Sandalwood pulled Night Sorrow into the 9 Heavens Pagoda. In the 9 Heavens Pagoda, Night Sorrow saw that all the members of the 9 Heavens Pagoda were present. Greetings, Your Highnesses. Where is Uncle Xia? Fei Xiu and the others bowed. Ah, Uncle Xia is reading a book. Junior Apprentice Brother, you don't know. Uncle Xia has been with Master for a long time and has never touched any books or decrees. He gets a headache whenever he sees them. Sandalwood laughed. Now that there is nothing else, let's set up the banquet. Today, senior apprentice brother and I want a drink. Knight Sorrow introduced his wife and the people around him to Sandalwood. Sandalwood was a little embarrassed. Junior apprentice brother, I don't have much of a collection. When I led the Nine Heavens army in the past, all the resources belonged to the army. I'm very poor. After the banquet was served, the two chatted casually and talked about the past. At this time, the Qing Emperor's dynasty was shaken. Big one. 5 million years ago, the flag of the Qing Emperor's dynasty's #1 army, the Nine Heavens Army, appeared in the Nine Heavens Pagoda. Low-level cultivators did not know what that meant, but the Qing Emperor's dynasty was an old power. There were countless kings and the king had an endless lifespan. Some of his deeds were already imprinted in their minds. A black figure came from the Qing Emperor's pavilion and reported this matter to the Qing Emperor. The Qing Emperor just waved his hand and continued playing chess with Xian Daozi. Your Majesty, this disturbance is not small. Should we stop it? Xian Daozi asked in a low voice. I knew you would ask. Then let me ask you. 5 million years ago and today, are the armies of the Qing Emperor's dynasty stronger or weaker? The Qing Emperor looked at Xian Daozi and asked. It's not easy to comment, but their reputation and bravery are not as good as before. The Green Qilin and Green Phoenix armies cannot reach the level of the Nine Heavens army. This is not your fault, because the Qing Emperor's dynasty only has one Sandalwood. Xian Daozi thought for a moment and said, Yes, Sandalwood is back now. The Qing Emperor said and continued to think about the chess game. Latest chapter #_on section equals, Xian Daozi did not say anything else. The Qing Emperor's words of Sandalwood were enough. After a game of chess, the Qing Emperor waved his hand. Let's not play anymore. You are not in the mood. Remember, the Qing Emperor's dynasty only has one Sandalwood and one Knight Sorrow. At the Green Qilin army's encampment, the angry Qilin army gathered. A man in Qilin armor stood in front of the troops. All captains of the angry Qilin army stepped forward. Bang, bang. Some of them took a step forward. The Nine Heavens war banner has appeared. Those who have just joined might not know about it, but you all know what it is. I will leave now because it is my faith. You all can do whatever you want, the man in the armor said. General, it is also our belief. The belief of the angry Qilin army. We will follow you back. All the captains of the angry Qilin army shouted. Good. Gather the troops in the time it takes to brew a cup of tea. Then we will leave. Nu Lin said. When the angry Qilin army finished gathering, Qing Lin appeared. His Highness Qing Lin is here. Even if you did not come, Nu Lin would have come to find you. We are leaving. Nu Lin looked at Qing Lin Crown Prince and said, What? Is the Green Qilin army not good? Qing Lin frowned and asked. It is not a problem. He is back. Nu Lin's voice was very calm. Chapter 1151. But you are the first army of the Green Qilin army. Green Qilin roared. He was furious. He had worked hard for countless years, but he couldn't compare to someone who had disappeared for 5 million years. That's not important. Back then, Nu Lin told His Majesty that the Nu Lin army could fight for the Qing Emperor's dynasty in any army. However, once the Nine Heavens war flag appears, the Nu Lin army will definitely return. Everyone listen up. Change your armbands. Nu Lin ordered. At this time, the captains of the Nu Lin army took off the Green Qilin army insignia on their armbands and put on the Qilin shoulder pads. That was the insignia of the Nu Lin army of the Nine Heavens army. A group of people looked at Qing Lin in the night wind. Their attitude was firm. At this time, the 3 armies of the Green Qilin army surrounded the area. Although we are unwilling, we will fight for our return. The Nu Lin army only has soldiers who die in battle. There are no cowards who compromise. Prepare for battle. Nu Lin roared. A mutated beast appeared under him and a 2-foot-long halberd appeared in his hand. Qing Lin's face turned green. He couldn't back down now. Nu Lin was a monarch. Their battle power was on par. The other 3 armies might not be able to take down the Nu Lin army. Even if they could, the Green Qilin army would be gone in the end. At that time, the Crown Prince would be finished. Let them go. After a while, the Crown Prince waved his hand. He knew that he was back to millions of years ago when he was suppressed by Sandalwood. The Nu Lin army's situation was also happening in the Green Phoenix army. Qin Leitang wanted to leave with the Thunder army. The Green Phoenix monarch couldn't stop them. Are you rebelling? Zhuo Tingyun roared. We are not rebelling. We are the Nine Heavens Army's Thunder Army. The Nine Heavens war flag is a battle order. Back then, I had an agreement with the princess, Qin Leiting said. What if your majesty doesn't agree? If you force your way out, it will be considered a rebellion. The princess's face was cold. You can't pin the crime of rebellion on the Thunder Army. His Majesty knows that. If your Majesty wants to stop us, we will fight to the end for the beliefs of the soldiers. The princess will bear the consequences. Change the thunder flag. Prepare for battle. Qin Leiting said. Following Qin Leiting's words, Meng Dan waved her arm and another battle flag was erected in front of the Thunder Army. However, it was different from the one she used before. The battle flag had thunder in the clouds above it, and it was not the thunder from the Qing Yuan. Old Qin, why are you doing this? Zhu Xuanjia stepped forward and asked. Xianjia, you should know what the Nine Heavens War Banner means to the Thunder Crash Army and the Nine Heavens Army. As long as the Nine Heavens War Banner appears, even if we have to crawl, we will crawl under that banner. Princess, are you going to make way or not? Qin Leiting raised his arm. Scram. Scram far away. Princess Qing Yuan angrily roared. If they stopped, they would have to fight. If they didn't fight, they would only lose an army. If they fought, how many people would the Green Phoenix Legion have left? She had no choice. Qin Leiting left with the Thunderbolt Army. At night, a cool breeze blew. The Nine Heavens battle banner of the nine-story tower fluttered in the wind. It was the testimony of an era, the faith of an era. In front of the nine-storied building, the sound of rustling footsteps rang out continuously. Leiting, you're not slow. Nu Lin, who had led the Nu Lin army to the 9 grand floors, waved his arm and stabbed a torch into the ground. As long as I don't fall behind you, Qin Leiting replied. Original_first release, the two of you still like to talk nonsense. Another group appeared. It was the Azure Supreme, the Arch City's Imperial Guards. And Ran, you're not slow either. Where's Weiwei? With her impatient personality, there's no reason for her to be the last to arrive, right? Nu Lin said. She accepted a mission and didn't stay in Qing Emperor City. She went to Dongshan City to clean up a group of bandits, and Ning, the commander of the city guards, said. At this moment, Sandalwood and Night Sorrow appeared in front of the 9 stories building. Greetings, Commander. Everyone knelt on one knee. The black-robed Sandalwood was once their invincible commander. Get up. I'm sorry for what happened to me all these years. Sandalwood went forward and helped Nu Lin, Qin Leiting, and Ning up. It's good that your highness is back. The Nine Heavens army will be invincible again. Nu Lin patted Sandalwood's shoulder. Let me tell you some things. I don't want to lead the army anymore, but I'm worried about you all. I don't want you to suffer, so I found a more suitable person for you all. My junior brother, Night Sorrow. Sandalwood patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. Senior brother, what are you doing? Night Sorrow was stunned. He didn't want to lead the army either. Listen to me first. Night Sorrow, I know you don't want to lead the army. I understand your thoughts, but I have some ideas. Night Sorrow is favored by His Majesty. You all know what kind of person His Majesty is. Most importantly, I trust him and am willing to support him because he won't abandon anyone, Sandalwood said. Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He couldn't reject Sandalwood's good intentions. Nu Lin and the others didn't say anything either. Sandalwood was the person they trusted the most. Her words were orders. You don't understand, Night Sorrow. Once you do, your thoughts will change. You won't suffer. Let's go in. The Nine Heavens Pagoda is so big. It can fit a few armies, let alone one, Sandalwood shouted. Night Sorrow brought everyone into the Nine Heavens Pagoda and arranged for them to stay. Then Zhan Tan called Night Sorrow and the top brass of the 3 armies together. Can you all not be so worried? I'm not ignoring everything. I'm here too. I don't know Night Sorrow's ability to lead a battle, but aren't you all experts? Night Sorrow is virtuous. As long as he's broad-minded, I'll take care of the other things, Sandalwood said. Nu Lin, Anning, let me say a few words. The commander might be tired after all these years, so let's not force him. It's enough that he's by our side. Also, I've fought with Night Sorrow before. Night Sorrow is a qualified soldier, a qualified commander, and a qualified commander in the future, Qin Leiting said. Leiting, are you lying? Nu Lin asked. Army Commander Nu Lin, we fought alongside His Highness Night Sorrow. Just like the commander back then, we'll fight every battle. Soldiers are brothers regardless of their relationship, said Meng Dan. You finally have some ideas. Weren't you quiet back then? Nu Lin looked at Meng Dan and said, I'm not the general's guard anymore. I'm a commander. Meng Dan patted her armor. Night Sorrow, it's not that I don't trust or respect you. I just don't understand you. However, I believe in the commander and my brothers. If they say it's okay, then it's okay. Nu Lin stood up and said. The furious Kylan Legion commander is thinking for his brothers. Yishang understands. But isn't today's movement a little too big? Why isn't there any response from outside? Yishang mumbled. Chapter 1152. Who has a reaction? Master definitely knows, but junior apprentice brother probably doesn't. Other than the Qing Emperor's guard, Master also has shadow guards. Nothing can escape Master's notice. If Master doesn't have any objections, what can Qing Lin and Qing Wan do? I'll borrow their courage. Sandalwood took a sip of wine and curled his lips. He didn't care about Qing Lin and Qing Wan at all. They weren't on the same level as him. Princess Qing Wan almost made a move against us. She's too narrow-minded. Night Sorrow will be a problem in the Qing Wan army sooner or later. She can't tolerate you. Your Highness shouldn't go back. The Qing Wan army will no longer have a Thunderbolt army. Qin Leitang said. His Majesty has decreed for me to retire from the Qing Wan army, but there are no other arrangements. Night Sorrow said. That's good. Qin Leitang felt more at ease. He understood Qing Wan. If there was a chance to suppress Night Sorrow, she wouldn't let it go. Alright, you guys settle down in Ninchong Tower. When Wei Wei returns, His Highness will explain everything to His Majesty. Let's drink now. Today is a happy day. 5 million years I've been locked up for 5 million years. In these 5 million years I've only seen a few faces. Sandalwood said. 5 million years was just a number, but how many days and nights was that? Everyone could feel the pain Sandalwood had suffered. After drinking, Night Sorrow and Sandalwood went to the Devil Ceiling Tower. Summer City was still inside. Night Sorrow couldn't just leave Summer City inside. When Night Sorrow arrived, Summer City was reading the Brotherhood theory. On the other side was Shangguan Hong's cursing. In any case, he didn't have any manners and pretended to be refined. Summer City was different from the others around the Qing Emperor. He didn't touch ink or read books. Now that he was reading the Brotherhood theory, he was very happy to be able to make Shangguan Hong angry. I'm here. After reading so many books, my mouth is dry. Do you have wine? Give the old man next door a jar too, or else he won't have the energy to scold us, Summer City said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded and gave Summer City and Shangguan Hong a jar of wine each. Uncle Xia, have you copied the book? There's no need to rush. I'll first familiarize myself with it. I'll let a certain someone know what it means to be a brother, Summer City said. Summer City, you bastard. If you have the guts, let's fight again. If you have the guts, then kill me. Shangguan Hong, who was next door, heard Summer City's words and directly smashed the wine jar. Since Her Highness Sandalwood is with Your Highness, I'm relieved. I'll stay here for a few days and teach the old man next door a lesson. Summer City took a sip of wine and said, That's fine too. Everything in Ninchong Tower is going well. Night Sorrow nodded. He could tell that Summer City and Shangguan Hong were at loggerheads. They were not fighting because of grievances, but because of their state of mind. In fact, it was also because of their brotherhood. Night Sorrow and Sandalwood returned to Ninchong Tower. At this time, on the training field of Ninchong Tower, 3 square formations were cultivating. The 3 generals were arguing about something. Seeing that Sandalwood and Night Sorrow had returned, Nu Lin and Tranquility pulled the unwilling Qin Leitang to Sandalwood and Night Sorrow. What's going on? Sandalwood frowned. The only one, and the rest are stolen. Your Highness, are the 9 Heavens Army brothers who live and die together? Nu Lin asked. That's right. This is the first creed of the 9 Heavens Army. Sandalwood nodded. Qin Leitang, you bastard. What else do you have to say? Tranquility roared at Qin Leitang. I didn't say no. I said to wait for Night Sorrow to return and then ask His Highness Night Sorrow if it's okay. But you guys are biting me? Qin Leitang waited for Tranquility to speak. The 3 of you quiet down. Tell me what's going on. Sandalwood was confused. The 9 Heavens Army was the most united. This had never happened before. Nu Lin then said that they wanted the Thunder Army's combined attack formation. Currently, only the Thunder Army has cultivated the combined attack formation that His Highness Night Sorrow taught them. The other 3 armies haven't cultivated it because they don't have His Highness Night Sorrow's orders, Qin Leitang said. That's easy. We're all brothers. Let's cultivate it together. Thunder Army, Nu Lin Army, and Tranquility Army will all cultivate it together. That's not a problem, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Tranquility Army was the army that Tranquility led. Of course. I thank your highness on behalf of all the brothers in the Nine Heavens army. Nu Lin bowed to Night Sorrow. What's the big deal? You guys are so embarrassed because of this? Hurry up and get busy. Sandalwood waved her hand and dismissed them. Then Night Sorrow and Sandalwood went to Jiucheng Palace where Night Sorrow lived to make tea. What they didn't know was that something was happening in the Azure Emperor Empire, something that no one could predict. Qing Lin and Qing Wan met in Qing Lin Palace and sat together. Qing Wan had found Qing Lin. Has the new Lin army left? Qing Wan asked after sitting down. Why do you ask when you already know the answer? Are you here to laugh at me? Qing Lin retorted in a displeased manner. No. Thunder Army also left the Qing Wan army. We are in the same predicament. If we don't change, we can't fight Sandalwood and Night Sorrow, Princess Qing Wan said. How can we fight them? I would like to hear your opinion, Qing Lin said. Qing Lin sighed. He was very depressed. Although he wanted to change and become the #1 person in the Imperial Palace, Sandalwood and Yishang were like mountains pressing down on him. Qing Lin Army and Qing Wan Army will merge and form the Lin Wan Army. The 6 armies won't be weaker than the 9 Heaven Army. If we work together, we might be able to defeat them. The main thing is that the Qing Emperor's dynasty is in our hands, Qing Wan said. What about the position of commander? Qing Lin asked. Of course it's my brother. Before we can suppress them, we won't be separated. Princess Qing Wan said. This was the result of her discussion with Zhuo Tingyun. If she didn't work with Crown Prince Qing Lin, she wouldn't be able to compete with Sandalwood and Night Sorrow. Alright, mobilize the forces of the other princes. I don't believe we can't defeat them. Qing Lin knocked on the table and stood up. Qing Lin didn't want to be suppressed by Sandalwood and Night Sorrow. Then, Qing Lin and Qing Wan gathered the other princes and told them about the current situation. Remember, we are siblings. They are outsiders. No matter who gets the throne, your majesty or the crown prince, you will have a good life. But they are different, Qing Wan said. If the crown prince and the princess want to fight, I will support you. I can give you people and resources, but I can't do anything else, Prince Qing Lin said. Qing Lin had an official position in the Qing Emperor's dynasty. He was in charge of the examination and reporting of some low-ranking officials. He didn't want to get involved in such a fight, but Qing Wan used their sibling relationship to speak, so he had to do so. Chapter 1153. The other princes also had the same attitude. The Qing Emperor had established the Qing Emperor's dynasty for countless years. He had many successful princes, and their cultivation was also considered top-notch. The Qing Emperor gave them the position of being outstanding but not outstanding. In other words, they could manage some things, but they couldn't shoulder the main responsibility. If they could manage some things, their knowledge would be good. The princes didn't fight for it because they understood that if they weren't good enough, then they shouldn't think about it. In addition, they also trusted Sandalwood. Back then, Sandalwood led the 9th Heaven Army to expand the territory. The Dark Abyss and the Red Emperor's kingdom were terrified of the 9th Heaven Army. Under the circumstances where the leaders were restricted by the unspoken rules and couldn't fight, the 9th Heaven Army was invincible, and Sandalwood was also an invincible commander. The Darkness Sovereign was strong, the Crimson Emperor was strong. All the peak powers in the world of reincarnation had such powerful characters. However, none of them would make a move easily. If they made a move recklessly, they would lose face. In addition, if you made a move, the other party's characters would also take revenge. The consequences would be very severe unless one of them could break the balance. But at their level, it would be very difficult for their cultivation to improve. It was very difficult for them to improve themselves. Almost all of these giants had taken the same path, which was to nurture outstanding assistants. Once any faction had 2 such experts, the balance would be broken. Sandalwood was once the Qing Emperor's hope, but she went astray and went crazy for 5 million years. After seeing Night Sorrow, the Qing Emperor felt that Night Sorrow could also do it. In addition, after knowing that Night Sorrow had supreme attributes, he even felt that Night Sorrow's achievements might surpass his in the future. Night Sorrow was only a little over 100 years old, which was shockingly young. There was no such precedent in the Supreme World. A shadow guard reported the current situation to the Qing Emperor. Your Majesty, are you just going to watch them fight? Xian Daozi asked. If I don't watch, how can I deal with it? Only when the fight is fierce can it generate motivation. It's boring if it's stagnant. The Qing Emperor shook his head. That's true. But once Mistress finds out, won't things become even more troublesome? Xian Daozi changed the topic. Her departure means that she has given up on the Qing Emperor's dynasty. The Qing Emperor's dynasty has nothing to do with her. Don't mention her in the future. The Qing Emperor's face turned cold. Xian Daozi hurriedly bowed and left. He knew he had said something he shouldn't have. 3 days later, another group of city guards reported to the Ninchong Tower. The commander was a woman. Sister. Nu Lin and Qin Leitang greeted her. Wei Wei. Long time no see. Seeing this female commander, and Ping said with a smile. B*TCH, you're still a B*TCH. Do I know you that well? Call me General Wei Wei. Wei Wei greets my 2 elder brothers. The valiant woman glared at Ping before cupping her hands at Nu Lin and Qin Leitang. Wei Wei, you're still not giving me any face. For you, I've been lonely for millions of years. Ning said with a bitter face. Ah, Wei Wei is back. You're the slowest, Sandalwood and Night Sorrow said after arriving at the training field. I just finished a mission and came back as soon as I heard the news. Wei Wei greets the commander. And this is? Wei Wei looked at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow, I have to say something. Can't you change the look of your white battle robe? Can't you wear your Majesty's clothes? Sandalwood looked at Night Sorrow and said, speechless. Elder brother, you have to say something about him. He wears his white robe all the time, Sikong Chiu said with a smile. Black robes with golden edges, blue robes with golden edges. The robes sent by the Qing Emperor's palace aren't clean, Night Sorrow said with a smile. From now on, wear a black robe with golden edges. Don't get caught by someone you don't know in the future. If that happens, don't say I didn't care about you. Wei Wei, this is His Highness Yishang. After saying a few words to Yishang, Santan introduced Yishang and Wei Wei. Greetings, Your Majesty Night Sorrow. Wei Wei cupped his hands. Let me tell you something else today. I was able to escape from the Devil's Ceiling Pagoda because of Night Sorrow's help. My life is his and my future accomplishments are also thanks to him, said Sandalwood. In truth, this was what she truly felt. We are brothers. Something happens to me, you won't just stand by and watch. Isn't that right? Night Sorrow said with a smile. Everyone has their moments of helplessness. I was very helpless in the Devil's Ceiling Tower. Although I persevered, I was very lost. Go and see me, drink tea with me, and let me know what it means to be heartwarming, Sandalwood said with a sigh. Master only has you and me. Although we didn't meet back then as your junior brother, I won't be stingy if I can do anything for you, Night Sorrow said. Go and reorganize the army. Once you're done, we will fight. The border is where our 9 Heavens army should go, Sandalwood said to Nu Lin and the others. But the border of the Qing Emperor's dynasty is under the control of the Qing Lin army and Qing Wan army. We have nowhere to go, Qin Leitang said. If I ask for it, they will have to give me half, Sandalwood said. They all have protectors. I don't think they will compromise, Nu Lin said after thinking for a moment. If they can't rely on their own strength, what about their protectors? Junior brother's protector is His Majesty's old brother. Don't I have a protector? Does His Majesty count? How dare they? Sandalwood sneered. Night Sorrow was also stunned. He didn't expect Sandalwood's protector to be Qing Emperor. Nu Lin and the others bowed and left. They knew that this was Sandalwood. Once she decided on something, she would never back down. After parting with Sandalwood, Night Sorrow thought for a moment and went to the Azure Sky Pavilion. As soon as Night Sorrow arrived, the Qing Emperor summoned him. Master, I would like to ask for your help, Night Sorrow said with a bow. In your experience, you have never asked anyone for help, the Qing Emperor said with a smile. Master, it's not just anyone. It's like this. The 9-domain world is in the middle of a calamity. An evil spirit world is attacking the 9-domain world. I can suppress the 9-domain world and prevent it from being destroyed, Night Sorrow said. What are you afraid of? Xian Daozi, who was standing at the side, asked. The leader of the evil spirit world, the evil spirit king, is a high-level king. I can't defeat it in the evil spirit world. If it rushes to the 9-domain world, my original body can control the 9-domain sources and fight it. However, my original body can't stay here forever. My original body wants to come out and comprehend will. Night Sorrow explained his predicament. Your original body wants to leave the 9-domain world and reach a higher level. However, after leaving, you are worried that the evil spirit king will rush to the 9-domain world, right? After hearing Night Sorrow's explanation, the Qing Emperor had a rough idea. Yes, that's the situation. Night Sorrow nodded. You said that you can control the 9 domain sources? You are the realm master? The Qing Emperor asked. Yes, Princess Qingyuan knows. Didn't she tell Master? Night Sorrow asked. I really didn't know. You are the realm master. This is easy to solve. The Qing Emperor smiled. The 4th update arrived. Chapter 1154. Qing Emperor took out a green ball and handed it to Night Sorrow. Then he explained how to use it. The green ball was the empty spirit pearl, a treasure nurtured by the endless ocean. To put it bluntly, it was a small empty space world. It could only be activated by treasures like the Destiny Pearl and the Origin Stone. The Realm Lord had the world's origin power, so there was no problem in activating it. When the evil Spirit King appeared, Night Sorrow's clone could activate the empty spirit pearl and imprison the evil Spirit King in this space world. Thank you, Master. Then I have no more worries. Night Sorrow's face was full of joy. You're still like a child. Go. Qing Emperor smiled and nodded. Night Sorrow bowed and left some good wine and tea on the table beside him. Then he left the Azure Sky Pavilion. Your Majesty, he's actually just a child, Xiandaozi said. A child with a simple mind. Make some tea. Qing Emperor pointed at the teapot that Night Sorrow had left behind. After obtaining the empty spirit pearl, Night Sorrow was very happy. The big problem of the 9-domain world was solved. The drawback of his original body not being able to leave the 9-domain world was no longer there. After returning to the 9 grand floors, everyone noticed that Night Sorrow was different. What made you so happy? Sikong Chiyu asked with a smile. I just went to find Master. Master gave me a treasure that can control the evil Spirit King. In other words, my original body can leave the 9-domain world and start improving myself, Night Sorrow said. That's great. This way the hidden dangers of the 9-domain world won't restrict you. Sikong Chiyu smiled and nodded. My original body needs to cultivate again. We don't have a child yet. Yang Lei muttered. That. 13, I think I'm pregnant, Aoi, who was standing beside Yang Lei, said with a red face. 6th senior sister, is this true? Night Sorrow's face was full of excitement. Yes. I just confirmed it. Qing Ji nodded. Well, I think so too. I plan to check it later. Sikong Chiyu's face was also red. Night Sorrow paced in place, not knowing what to do or say to express his feelings. All right, we have to tell our parents about this, Aoi said. Okay, you can go. Night Sorrow smiled and nodded. He intended to let his wife talk about such a happy event. Junior brother, you are truly formidable. Judging by the amount of energy contained within your body, the chances of you producing children are not high. But to think that you have 2 children in one go, I am truly impressed. John Tan chuckled. I'm so happy. I'm really happy. Night Sorrow couldn't suppress the joy in his heart. Did you drink the dragon root wine? Sandalwood patted Night Sorrow's shoulder and asked. No. I really didn't drink it. Night Sorrow blushed and said. While everyone was preparing for the banquet, Night Sorrow left the 9-Chong Pagoda and returned to the city in the sky. He handed over the things that needed to be handed over to his original body. Then Night Sorrow's doppelganger returned to the 9-Chong Pagoda. Night Sorrow's original body arrived at Haotian City. After handing over the empty spirit pearl to his doppelganger in the Fengtian Hall, he took some cultivation resources and the cultivation token of the Samsara Palace and headed to the Samsara world. The first city in the Samsara world was the Samsara City. The Samsara City didn't belong to any force. It was a neutral area. All the top forces in the Samsara world were in charge of the Samsara City. No one could monopolize the city. All the top forces had a foundation in the Samsara City. Because the top forces didn't have many ups and downs, the power structure didn't fluctuate greatly. However, there were still small conflicts and battles. Night Sorrow's original body arrived at the Samsara City through the official transmission formation of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. As the first city in the Supreme World, the Samsara City was so big that Night Sorrow had to take a transmission formation in the city to get to the Samsara Palace. The Samsara Palace was located there. The surrounding space was illusory with endless rules and willpower. Night Sorrow arrived at the Samsara Palace, but a guard stopped him. I'm going in to cultivate. Night Sorrow took out the token of the Samsara Palace. Okay. Has the Samsara token recognized its owner? Put it in the Samsara cauldron over there and you can enter. The guard, whose cultivation Night Sorrow couldn't see through, nodded after seeing the Samsara token. With the Samsara token, he was qualified to enter the Samsara Palace to cultivate. Night Sorrow knew some rules of the Samsara Palace. The Samsara token recorded the time of the user. When the time was up, it would be automatically expelled. Each time the time was deducted was also in units of 10 years. After putting the Samsara token into the Samsara cauldron, a stream of energy appeared and wrapped Night Sorrow into the Samsara Palace. You have 130 years of cultivation time. Now you can choose the attribute you want to cultivate. An old and dignified voice sounded. Senior, I want to comprehend the nihility intent. Night Sorrow said. The supreme attribute, nihility will? There was a hint of surprise in the old voice's voice. Yes, I have the nihility energy and the nihility law, but I haven't found the place to comprehend the nihility intent. Therefore I came here to ask for your help. Night Sorrow bowed and said. He knew that this was a question from the origin of the world of Samsara. Okay. Since you can, I'll help you. The old voice responded to Night Sorrow. V only original version Z, L others are all pirated versions. Then Night Sorrow's surroundings changed. Next, it was a space full of the nihility intent. Once again he cupped his hands towards the void. After eating the spirit comprehension pill, Night Sorrow sat down cross-legged and started cultivating. The entry level of the nihility intent was the most difficult stage in Night Sorrow's cultivation. After taking this step, he could use time to accumulate and use the entry-level law to deduce and comprehend it. Inside the 9 Grand building, the celebration banquet was quite grand. Pregnancy was a big deal for everyone. In addition, Night Sorrow was the realm lord of the 9 regions world. Having a child was even more important. After the banquet ended, Night Sorrow came to a corner of the 9 Grand building. He stood under the 9 Heavens war flag and looked up at it. Your Highness. At this moment, a female voice sounded behind Night Sorrow. It was General Wei Wei. General Wei Wei is here. Bring your men here. Are there any problems? If there's anything that needs to be dealt with, I'll take care of it. Night Sorrow looked back at General Wei Wei and said, There might be. The city guard commander should be here. It's a bit strange that he hasn't come yet. General Wei Wei said, If it's just the city guard commander looking for trouble, then it's fine. Uncle Xia won't look for trouble with us. He's still reading in the Devil's Ceiling Tower. Night Sorrow said, Your Highness is very familiar with Commander Xia? General Wei Wei asked in surprise. Yes, Uncle Xia is my path protector. He's one of the closest people to me in the world of reincarnation. Night Sorrow nodded. Then it's fine. If the other 2 deputy commanders come, we don't need to care. Your Highness can tell them to go find Commander Xia. General Wei Wei said with a smile. Since the 9 Heavens war flag is out, let's fight. Night Sorrow murmured. Chapter 1155. After chatting with General Wei Wei for a while, Night Sorrow arrived at the Devil's Ceiling Tower. When Night Sorrow arrived at the Devil's Ceiling Tower, Uncle Summer had just finished copying the Brotherhood cycle. Your Highness, you're here. Copying the Brotherhood cycle is harder than killing a few sovereigns. Summer City threw the brush in his hand and stood up. Looking at the swaying brush in the meteorite iron wall, Night Sorrow understood how much emotion Summer City's writing brought. Summer City walked out of the dungeon with 2 Brotherhood cycle books in his hands. The Qing Emperor's guards in the Devil's Ceiling Tower didn't lock the dungeon door for Summer City and Shangguan Hong. They went in to reflect and could leave at any time. Summer City came out and so did Shangguan Hong. Old man, I finished copying the Brotherhood cycle. What about you? Don't you want to continue reflecting? Summer City looked at Shangguan Hong with disdain under his mask and some other emotions. I've reflected. I'll deal with you in the future. I won't use our Brotherhood. You better be careful, Shangguan Hong said as he pointed at Summer City. Hey, you're trying to scare me. What else can you do other than use tricks? You're the one who should be careful. If you provoke me, I'll deal with you. I can't kill you, but can't I beat you black and blue? Let's go, Your Highness. Xia Qing waved his arm and pushed aside Shangguan Hong, who wasn't in the way to begin with, before leaving the Devil's Ceiling Tower's dungeon with Yishang. Summer City, you better remember this. Shangguan Hong was so angry that he roared hysterically again. After Night Sorrow and Summer City left the Devil's Ceiling Tower, Night Sorrow told them what happened in the past few days. Very good. Since Princess Sandalwood is willing to help you, your position in the Qing Emperor's dynasty is very stable. The 2 princesses won't be able to threaten you in terms of strength. The only thing they can do is to scheme against you, said Summer City. There's one more thing. The 4 armies of the 9 Heavens army have returned. Qing Lin and Qing Wan weren't able to stop the return of the raging Qilin army and the Thunder army. However, the two armies belonging to the Qing Emperor's Imperial City Guards might be in trouble, said Knight Sorrow. Of course, I won't cause any trouble for you, but it's necessary to report to His Majesty. Let's go to the Qing Emperor's palace first. This is also for His Majesty. Summer City pointed at the book in his hand. I won't be going over. I'll go back to Ninchong Tower and wait for Uncle Xia. Knight Sorrow said. He knew that after Summer City went to the Azure Sky Pavilion, he would have some interactions with the Qing Emperor. It was all about some old brothers. It wouldn't be appropriate for him to go. When Knight Sorrow returned to Ninchong Tower, he discovered that there was a problem. The two vice-commanders of the Imperial City Guards had surrounded Ninchong Tower with a few troops. They wanted to capture a Ning and Wei Wei. "Greetings, Your Highness," said the two commanders when they saw Knight Sorrow. They saluted Knight Sorrow. "Eldest senior brother, what's going on?" asked Knight Sorrow. "Forever exempt #C_little be said. How should I put it? No one is right or wrong. The Anping army and the Dingxiang army belong to the Nine Heavens army. When they saw the Nine Heavens battle order, they had to return. The two of them are the vice-commanders of the Imperial City Guards. They are under the command of His Majesty and the commander of the Imperial City Guards. Now that the former Imperial City Guards are no longer part of the order, it's normal for them to interfere," said Sandalwood. Right now the Imperial City Guards were in the right. Even if Sandalwood was strong, she couldn't act recklessly. Thus it was a stalemate. "Your Highnesses, we're not here to make things difficult for anyone. We just want to bring the two captains of the Imperial City Guards to give an explanation to our commander and His Majesty. As for how the commander and His Majesty will deal with this matter, we won't interfere," said one of the vice-commanders. "I can understand what you mean. This matter must be dealt with. However, it's impossible for me to hand them over. If I can't even protect them in my own residence, how am I supposed to lead people in the future? How am I supposed to conduct myself?" said Knight Sorrow. "But this matter must be dealt with." The vice-commander of the Imperial City Guard sighed because today's matter was very difficult to resolve. Yishang wouldn't back down as this was a matter of dignity. Moreover, the Imperial City Guards couldn't lose their dignity either, as that represented Qingdi City's dignity. No one wants a conflict. How about this? Everyone calm down. Uncle Summer has already walked out of the Devil Ceiling Tower and went to the Azure Sky Pavilion to see His Majesty. This matter will be resolved soon, said Knight Sorrow. Then, we can wait. The vice-commander nodded. No one wanted to have a conflict. After waiting for a while, Elder Xia returned. What's going on? What's with all the commotion? Elder Xia asked as he looked at the two sides. It's about the matter of the two armies belonging to the Nine Heavens army, said Knight Sorrow. Greetings, Commander. Since Commander isn't here, we can only deal with this matter first, said the two vice-commanders. His Majesty already knows about this matter. It's only natural for the Anping and Dingxiang armies to return to the Nine Heavens army. In addition, the troops trained by Pine Garden City will be transferred over to fill the vacancies in the Imperial City Guards, said Summer City. Hearing Summer City's words, the two vice-commanders of the Imperial City Guards retreated with their troops. Speaking of which, Summer City went to the Azure Sky Pavilion and gave the Qing Emperor the two books on Brotherhood. After reading Summer City's copy, the Qing Emperor was speechless because the handwriting was unreadable. How many years had it been? He wanted Summer City to have some ink in his stomach, but it still wasn't enough. Summer City then told him what Knight Sorrow had told him and asked for the Qing Emperor's opinion. The Qing Emperor was clear about the current situation. Originally, he planned to have Xian Daozi pass on the order. Now that Summer City had returned, he naturally didn't need Xian Daozi to pass on the order. He passed on the order to Summer City. Knight Sorrow had the Nine Heavens army rest while he and Sandalwood brought Summer City back to the main hall of the Nine Heavens Tower. Here, this is your identity medallion, said Yi Zichen. Summer City handed the two tokens to Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow's token was the Royal Highness token, while Sandalwood's was the Sky Supervisor's token. He originally had the Royal Highness token. Your Highness Sandalwood, although His Majesty didn't say anything about the rebuilding of the Nine Heavens army, it involves the army. You should go and report it. The battle orders and military tokens also need to be dealt with, Summer City said to Sandalwood. Old Xia, this matter needs to be handled by Knight Sorrow. I don't plan on leading the army anymore. These years have been too tiring. Once the Nine Heavens army is on the right track, I'll go and accompany Master. Then I'll go and see the world. There are still many things to do in life, Sandalwood said. That's fine. You brothers make the arrangements. Deal with it as soon as possible. Old Xia nodded. He could understand Sandalwood. Sandalwood's high-spirited state of mind had changed quite a bit. Zhou Tingyun and Shengguan Hong supported the decision made by Qing Lin and Qing Wan. This was the best way out for them. It was also the only way to go against Sandalwood and Night Sorrow. After all, the circle of royal descendants was still very strong. As for the alliance between Qing Lin and Qing Wan, the Qing Emperor directly approved. He knew what everyone was thinking. As long as it wasn't out of line, he couldn't be bothered. After that, Night Sorrow and Sandalwood arrived at the Azure Sky Pavilion. They also needed to deal with the Nine Heavens Army. The two of them met Qing Lin and Qing Wan, who had just come out of the Azure Sky Pavilion. Chapter 1156. Qing Lin pretended not to see them and walked directly towards Yishang and Qing Wan. Qing Wan followed beside him and had the same attitude as Qing Lin. Interesting. Sandalwood and Night Sorrow stood in the middle of the path and did not move. Give way? Sandalwood did not have this word in her heart. In Night Sorrow's place, if Qing Lin and Qing Wan were polite, he would not mind giving way. But since they were so aggressive, if he gave way, it would mean that he was afraid. He naturally would not give way. When the four of them were 5 feet away, they stopped in their tracks. Give way. Qing Lin roared. Here I, Sandalwood, will only give way to Master. You do not have the right. Sandalwood said coldly. Night Sorrow, you are really something. Now that you have someone backing you, you are ungrateful. Qing Wan looked at Night Sorrow and scolded him. Ungrateful. You cannot accuse me of being ungrateful. When you came to the 9 regions world to find me, you forced me because I was the realm lord. You could not force me. After that, you used the pressure from the Chidu Empire to force me to compromise. Is this considered kindness? Although you were magnanimous at that time, you followed me and became Master's disciple. Ask yourself, do you still have that magnanimity? Righteousness, who did I let down? The Qing Emperor's empire protects the 9 regions world. I will naturally fight for the Qing Emperor's empire. I am not in the Qing Wan army now because of Master's orders. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards the Azure Sky Pavilion. You have a sharp tongue. Princess Qing Wan spat out coldly. Whatever you say. Night Sorrow did not want to lower himself to her level. You are not giving way? I am your senior brother. Since you are disrespectful to me, I will teach you a lesson. Sandalwood snorted coldly. She waved her right hand and a 7-foot sword appeared in her hand. Translator. Henyi Translations Editor. Henyi Translations Qing Lin, Qing Wan, leave quickly. Sandalwood, come in. The Qing Emperor's voice came from the Azure Sky Pavilion. Qing Emperor didn't ask about the confrontation between the 4 of them. However, the outcome was out. He couldn't just watch them fight. If they fought, Qing Lin and Qing Wan wouldn't be Sandalwood's match. To him, a result was enough. Hearing the Qing Emperor's words, Qing Lin and Qing Wan bypassed Sandalwood and Night Sorrow and left the Azure Sky Pavilion. The Qing Emperor's words were also to give them a way out. If they were to fight, Night Sorrow was a 2-star king. However, Green Qilin and Green Wan were not a match for Sandalwood even if they worked together. Sandalwood had the ability to kill a monarch back in the day. Sandalwood and Night Sorrow entered the Azure Sky Pavilion. Sandalwood, Night Sorrow, the Qinlin army and Qinwan army have merged to form the Qinwan army. What do you think? Qing Emperor looked at Sandalwood and Night Sorrow and asked. Junior brother, you go first. Sandalwood nodded to Night Sorrow. No thoughts. We are all working for the Qing Emperor's dynasty. The only difference is the form. There may be competition, but there is vitality when there is competition, Night Sorrow said. Master, they don't want to give up. This is actually a good thing. Only by not giving up can they strive and achieve something, Sandalwood said. Both of you are very open-minded. Tell me, what are you here for? Qing Emperor nodded and said. He knew that in terms of mentality, his children were at a disadvantage. Master, I am here to report to the 9 Heavens Army. However, I don't want to be the commander of the 9 Heavens Army anymore. I have also told the 4 generals that junior brother will lead them in the future, Sandalwood said. The 9 Heavens Army is a flag of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. This flag should not fall. If it disbands, it will no longer be the 9 Heavens Army. Night Sorrow is His Highness, so he is qualified to lead the army. I approve. I will send the token to the 9 grand floors later. Qing Emperor nodded. Thank you, Master. Sandalwood and Night Sorrow bowed. Night Sorrow, you are still young. You still have a long way to go. Leading the army will be a good experience for your growth. In addition, the merit points will help you improve more smoothly. Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow and said, I will remember Master's teachings. Night Sorrow bowed. Zhantan, your junior brother is just like you, honest and honest. There are things that he should do and things that he shouldn't do. Therefore, even though he is a perfect person, he has some weaknesses as well. You have to look after him, the Lotus Emperor said. I will. Sandalwood nodded. After that, Night Sorrow and Sandalwood left the Azure Sky Pavilion. Daozi, take my Emperor's seal and find a celestial designer to build everything the Nine Heavens army needs, Qing Emperor said to Daozi. Yes. Also, the Qing Emperor's guard from the Devil Sealing Tower just reported that Shangguan Hong and Summer City left the Devil Sealing Tower one after the other, Daozi said. So be it. Xia Cheng is a straightforward person. We know what kind of person he is. As for Shangguan Hong, he has more crooked ideas, but he still has a bottom line for some things. After this incident, they will calm down and know what not to do. Emperor Qing shook his head. Night Sorrow and Sandalwood returned to the 9 grand floors and gathered the 4 teams of the 9 Heavens Army. Then, Sandalwood told them about the 9 Heavens Army's report. Commander, once the order is approved, we can go to the border? Nu Lin asked excitedly. Don't call me that. From now on, the 9 Heavens Army will only have one commander, and that is Night Sorrow, Sandalwood emphasized. The 4 generals nodded. Night Sorrow and Sandalwood returned to the main hall of the 9 grand floors. Sandalwood took out a map and looked at it. At the same time, she asked Night Sorrow where the best defense area was. Night Sorrow looked at it and thought for a moment. Then he drew a diagonal line. That was the border between the Qing Emperor's dynasty and the Dark Abyss. Night Sorrow's finger pointed to the border between the Red Emperor's dynasty and the Qing Emperor's dynasty, Sky Tiger Pass. Not bad. That's a good location. It's an area with a lot of battles. That way we can be self-sufficient. Also, Sky Tiger Pass is a military stronghold. However, the stronghold is currently in the enemy's hands. Qing Lin, that piece of trash, didn't manage to take it, Sandalwood said. Then we'll take it ourselves. The problem now is how do we get the right to defend this area? Qing Lin and Qing Wan won't let go, Night Sorrow said. Now we have 2 options. One is to go to the Qing Emperor's palace and ask for the defense area from the military. We can do that. The 2 princes have a lot of influence, but we're not fake either. However, it's a bit of a bully. The other option is to report to the military and take down Sky Tiger Pass. Then we can take over the surrounding areas. That will shut everyone up. Qing Lin and Qing Wan won't even let out a fart. The problem is that it's very difficult to take over. Sky Tiger Pass is a stronghold that the Red Emperor's dynasty values, Sandalwood said. If we go and take over the area, we'll have to take over Sky Tiger Pass in the future. It'll give us a reason to take over Sky Tiger Pass. Why don't we make some preparations and take over Sky Tiger Pass? Night Sorrow said. Chapter 1157. Alright. This idea is actually a suggestion from Senior Brother. Stealing from our own people isn't a skill. Although they aren't our people, they are still from the Qing Emperor's dynasty. If we want to steal, we should steal from our enemies, Sandalwood said to Night Sorrow. Then let's do it this way. I'll look up the information and see what's going on in Sky Tiger Pass. I don't want 9 Heavens Army to suffer any losses, Night Sorrow said. Alright, this is the first battle and also the most crucial battle. You should study the battle strategy first. If you think it's feasible, we'll report it to the military and start the battle, Sandalwood said. Night Sorrow nodded and asked Fei Xiu to look for information on Sky Tiger Pass. Then he went to the training ground and called the 4 generals of 9 Heavens Army together. I have a mission for you guys. Since you guys aren't familiar with it, whoever can do it well, Night Sorrow said when they arrived at the 9 Heavens Army's temporary tent. Commander, please instruct us, Nu Lin said. It's like this. 9 Heavens Army doesn't have a defensive area. So, if you want a defensive area, there are 2 ways. One is to ask for it and the other is to steal. If you ask for it, you'll lose face and reputation, Night Sorrow said and went straight to the point. Yes, we're not beggars. If we don't want it, we'll steal it. Wei Wei's eyes lit up. Even if she was a woman, she was still a soldier. Alright, I need detailed information on Sky Tiger Pass. The more detailed, the better. The faster, the better, Night Sorrow ordered. Attack Sky Tiger Pass? Nu Lin and the others were stunned. Sky Tiger Pass was one of the impregnable passes of the Red Emperor's empire. It was a stronghold and was very difficult to attack. That's right. This is the first battle of our Nine Heavens army. We have to do it well. After that, we'll rely on Sky Tiger Pass to develop and establish a defensive line, Knight Sorrow said as he stood up. Yes, sir. I know a little about Sky Tiger Pass. I can sneak in to investigate. Nu Lin cupped his fist at Knight Sorrow. Know yourself and know your enemy and you will never be defeated. Information must be reliable. Knight Sorrow nodded at Angry Unicorn. Everyone else, prepare for battle. Knight Sorrow instructed before returning to the main hall. Look at the first section of this chapter. F. Have you made the arrangements? Sandalwood asked. He did not go with Knight Sorrow because he wanted to let Knight Sorrow establish his authority. Nu Lin went to investigate. The details are very important. Knight Sorrow nodded. After a while, Fei Xiu returned with some information regarding Heaven Tiger Pass and some blueprints. Although the blueprints were old, Knight Sorrow could still make do with them. After watching for a while, Knight Sorrow began to think. Attacking the stronghold by force would not work, as they would suffer heavy losses. That was not the result that Knight Sorrow wanted. What he wanted was to pay the lowest price in exchange for the greatest benefits. Knight Sorrow took a pen and drew a few areas on the blueprints. In a war, we have to first cut off the enemy's reinforcements and destroy the teleportation formation. Then we have to separate the areas and kill them. That way the consumption will be reduced, Knight Sorrow said. Yes, we have to break through the enemy's strength with skill. The outer area of Heaven Tiger Pass is full of formations. Attacking by force is not feasible, Sandalwood said. The soldiers in the army are all brothers. I won't let anyone die easily. Senior brother, don't worry. I have some ideas now, but we'll talk about it when Nu Lin returns. Knight Sorrow knew that Sandalwood was worried. The members of the God-slaying team cultivated every day and worked hard to improve their cultivation. Because the level of the people around Knight Sorrow was too high, the battle had nothing to do with them. On this day, after Knight Sorrow arranged for some people to collect some materials, a guest came to the Nine Chong Pavilion. It was Long Jin. Knight Sorrow received him politely. However, Long Jin wasn't there as a guest. He was there to join Knight Sorrow. He wanted to train himself at a higher level. After thinking about it, Knight Sorrow agreed and put Long Jin in the God-slaying team. He admired Long Jin's character. Men had to be brave. Only then would they be able to break through. The Nine Heavens army didn't make any moves. Qing Lin and Qing Wan were puzzled. They didn't know what was going on. Knight Sorrow aside, Sandalwood's personality shouldn't be like this. However, at this time, the Qing Emperor's dynasty announced that the new commander of the Nine Heavens army was Knight Sorrow, not Sandalwood. Seems like Sandalwood's temperament has changed after being locked up for so many years. If he doesn't stir up trouble, Knight Sorrow won't be able to do anything. We'll just occupy the defense area and refuse to give it to them. Then we'll just give them some horns and let them bury themselves in the mud. Qing Lin slammed the table and said, The Nine Heavens army won't submit to anyone easily. From the way they left here we can see how bad they are. Even with Sandalwood's suppression, it won't last long. Knight Sorrow, he's not good enough. He's far from enough. They're destroying their own foundation. Our chance is here. After hearing the news, Qing Wan was excited. She felt that if she and Qing Lin couldn't control the Nine Heavens army, Knight Sorrow wouldn't be able to control them either. Knight Sorrow was doing his homework, preparing to conquer Heaven Tiger Pass. Half a month later, Nu Lin came back with a brother. The two of them had cultivated a secret technique and had the illusion body. The illusion body didn't have the ability to fight, but it was good at hiding. The two of them recorded the situation inside Heaven Tiger Pass and the deployment of the army. Holding the layout of Heaven Tiger Pass, Knight Sorrow compared it with the old map. The terrain wasn't much different. The only difference was some buildings and deployments. Knight Sorrow held the layout and made markings on it. He was thinking about the deployment and route of the attack. Nu Lin shook his head at Sandalwood and the three generals of the Nine Heavens army. He estimated that even without the stronghold, the Nine Heavens army would have to suffer some losses if they wanted to take down Heaven Tiger Pass. Now that Heaven Tiger Pass was surrounded by a large formation, it wasn't suitable for attacking. If they attacked, the Nine Heavens army would suffer great losses. Sandalwood didn't say anything and continued to watch Knight Sorrow make markings and deployments. After an hour, Knight Sorrow raised his head and said, "That's it. I have a plan now." Commander, it's not wise to fight head-on when we know we can't win, Nu Lin said. Let me finish first. War can be divided into soft power and hard power. Hard power is a comparison of military power, while soft power is some external factors. Heaven Tiger Pass is an external factor that increases the enemy's strength. We can use the soft power that we can use to weaken the enemy and increase our own strength, Night Sorrow said after glancing at the map. Okay, tell me about it. Sandalwood interrupted Nu Lin, who was about to continue. Heaven Tiger Pass is a strong stronghold. First, we have to break the defensive power of their stronghold and turn it into a decoration. Night Sorrow knocked on the map and said, how is that possible? The quality of the soldiers in Heaven Tiger Pass is not as high as our Nine Heavens army, but their numbers are terrifying. Nu Lin shook his head. Others can't do it, but I can. Night Sorrow looked at Nu Lin and said, Chapter 1158. Come, everyone sit down. Let's discuss openly today. Night Sorrow is the new commander of the Nine Heavens army and I support him. However, the subordinates of the Nine Heavens army are all old brothers and I respect that. He waved his hand for everyone to sit. Night Sorrow nodded and said, then I'll tell you what I think. If you don't agree, I won't insist. Night Sorrow planned to sneak into Sky Tiger Pass and set up a concealment formation. Then, he would set up a teleportation formation and teleport everyone in the Nine Heavens army inside. That was the first step. The second step was not to rush into battle. He would set up formations in all the important military camps. Once the formations were activated, the enemy's army would be divided. The official battle plan was to first destroy the enemy's teleportation formation. Then, the Nine Heavens army would use their advantage to slowly erode the enemy's army. That would minimize the Nine Heavens army's losses. Commander, this is very difficult. First of all, we can't enter. Even if there are people with high cultivation who can enter, the requirements for those who enter are extremely high because ordinary arrays can't trap the Sovereign King. Qin Leitang said. That's right. Sky Tiger Pass is a meteorite iron wall. It's surrounded by a large formation. It's called the Skylock Formation. We can't fly or pass through it. I was able to get in because I was an illusion. Nu Lin shook his head. I'll do it. If I succeed, we'll fight. If I can't, just pretend I didn't say anything, Night Sorrow said to Nu Lin and the other three generals. Commander, you're the commander. How can the commander fight before the army moves? Monarch Wei Wei shook his head. Commanders are soldiers too. We just have different roles. Let me talk about my situation first. I'm king, a time and space dual attribute alchemist and blacksmith. I'm also a Sky Master alchemist. So, I'll be the one to increase our soft power. This is the responsibility of a commander, Night Sorrow said. No. Nu Lin still shook his head. How about this? I'll go with you. Even if we fail, we can bring you back, Sandalwood said. After Zhan Tan spoke, the four generals of the Nine Heavens army stopped objecting. General Nu Lin, do you have the guts to come with me? Night Sorrow rolled up the blueprint and smiled at Nu Lin. Of course, that's not a problem. I didn't support the commander's point of view because it involved the lives of countless soldiers in the Nine Heavens army. Now I'm an individual. What am I afraid of? Nu Lin patted his chest and said, all right, everyone stand by and prepare for battle. Senior brother, Furious Qilin Legion Commander, let's go, Yi Shang said. Your subordinate wants to follow as well, said Summer City, who had been strolling outside. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow didn't refuse. This was something he couldn't refuse. After using the teleportation array twice, the four of them flew towards the Heaven Tiger Pass. The distance was still quite far. The four of them flew for a day before arriving at the outer region of the Heaven Tiger Pass. Next, I'll have to trouble everyone. After setting up an illusion array and a teleportation array and inserting the teleportation crystal, Night Sorrow waved his arm and the dragon cauldron circled around him. These are all spatial treasures? Summer City looked at the dragon cauldron and asked. Yes, I'll let the weapon spirit open it up to you. Everyone will know what's going on outside, Night Sorrow said. No problem. Sandalwood's body flashed and she entered the dragon cauldron. Summer City and Nu Lin also entered without hesitation. Drink tea or drink wine. Do as you please. Night Sorrow threw the tea and wine into the dragon cauldron. Then, with a slash of his right arm, he tore open space and flew in space. The spatial turbulence in the paramount world was very strong. Ordinary king couldn't fly in it, but Night Sorrow could. This was the strength of a spatial king. In addition, he had the time and space precepts to protect him. The spatial turbulence's suppression on him was still within his limits. After flying for 2 hours, Night Sorrow let the dragon cauldron suppress the spatial turbulence. He entered the dragon cauldron and drank some tea to recover. Then he continued flying in the spatial turbulence. Night Sorrow entered the spatial turbulence early because he didn't want to be discovered by the spies in the Heaven Tiger Pass. Looking at the original chapter, √Z, this commander-in-chief's strength is indeed strong. Ordinary mid-level king can't do this, Newlin said. He's an idiot. How can he be my junior? Am I an idiot too? Sandalwood glared at Newlin. Newlin smiled embarrassedly. Stop arguing, you two. We've reached the key area. The Heaven Lock Matrix is just ahead. Let's see how His Highness will get through it. Summer City waved her hand and interrupted the conversation between Sandalwood and Newlin. Night Sorrow also felt that the spatial turbulence's pressure had increased. He couldn't fly at all. It was probably the effect of the Matrix's seal. Open. With a low roar, Night Sorrow activated Spatial Rend. He tore open the reinforced spatial turbulence and continued forward. After using Spatial Rend 5 times, Night Sorrow finally got through the reinforced spatial turbulence. At this point, his spatial energy was almost exhausted. That's it. Newlin's eyes widened. He was able to enter Sky Tiger Pass because he used Phantom Body. Phantom Body had no energy, so he had to hide behind the Red Emperor's spies. Night Sorrow had used brute force to get through. Power? This power is scary, but it's not the hardest part. Sandalwood nodded. The hardest part is how to break through the spatial barrier. It's easy to break through, but it's difficult to not create energy waves. If there is energy waves, we'll be discovered. Summer City's eyes were full of worry. He wasn't worried about Night Sorrow's safety. He was worried about Night Sorrow's failure. This battle was very important to Night Sorrow. 9 Heaven Army wanted to use this battle to solidify their position as the #1 army. Night Sorrow wanted to prove himself in front of the soldiers of 9 Heaven Army. After entering Sky Tiger Pass, Night Sorrow let the Dragon Cauldron continue to suppress the spatial turbulence. He went to rest. Junior brother, not bad. Don't rush. Let's take it slow and seize the opportunity. Sandalwood patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. Our next target is their large military field. They only use it when they're fighting. It's very suitable for our rendezvous point, Night Sorrow said after taking out the map and looking at it for a moment. Sky Tiger Pass military field was very big. Could hold tens of thousands of people. Because of the large area, they could set up an illusion formation and teleport their own people in without being discovered. We'll do as you say. Sandalwood was excited. He hadn't done something like this for many years. He was excited. After drinking a few sips of tea, Night Sorrow sat down to recover. After recovering, Night Sorrow continued to travel through the spatial turbulence. He was extremely fast. Even though Sky Tiger Pass was a small city with an area of 10,000 miles, Night Sorrow arrived at his destination in 15 minutes. The crucial moment had arrived. Now it was up to Night Sorrow to get out and set up the formation. Sandalwood looked at Night Sorrow's silhouette in the spatial turbulence. Summer City and Newlin were also looking. They knew that there was no one around, but the ripples in the spatial turbulence couldn't be hidden from monarchs. There would be some monarchs in Sky Tiger Pass. Chapter 1159. Genius 1 second. Remember for you to read. Taking a deep breath, Night Sorrow took out the space splitter and stretched his right arm forward. He condensed his Jin Qi and controlled the quantity, then used the Void Extreme Kill. As the purple dot jumped, the spatial barrier was melted into a small black dot. Now was the time. This was the chance Night Sorrow needed. He flashed into the 8-Dragon Cauldron and controlled the 8-Dragon Cauldron, which had shrunk to the size of a grain of sand, to rush out of the spatial turbulence and into the world of Heaven Tiger Pass. Phew. Let's see if anyone is here to investigate, Night Sorrow said after taking 2 deep breaths. No, there are almost no fluctuations. We won't be discovered. Your Highness, what's that move? Summer City asked. It's a special battle technique. I'll start setting up the array in a moment, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Be careful, Commander, Newlin said. He felt that they could succeed as long as they were careful. As long as Night Sorrow made the first move, the 9 Heavens army would be useless if they couldn't take down Heaven Tiger Pass. He also knew why Night Sorrow had brought him here. He wanted him to watch the whole process. When the battle started, he wouldn't refute and would only support. After waiting for a while and making sure that no one had discovered them, Knight Sorrow controlled the 8-dragon cauldron and moved it to the inner part of the field. He began to move. Knight Sorrow was setting up the array in the 8-dragon cauldron. He kept throwing out spirit stones. The field was very hard, but Knight Sorrow's energy had the ability to cut through space. It was no problem for him to penetrate deep into the ground. 15 minutes later, Knight Sorrow looked at Sandalwood and the other two. Whether we're discovered or not depends on this hammer. After speaking, Knight Sorrow threw out a spirit stone. This was the spirit stone to activate a small 1000 development illusionary array. It was the last array foundation of the array. The space fluctuated for a while and stabilized. Knight Sorrow also flashed out of the 8-dragon cauldron and stood in the array. At this time, a group of people came to the edge of the field. They took a look and left. They had felt the energy fluctuations, but they were not strong. They thought that it might have been caused by someone's cultivation and left. Knight Sorrow shook the 8-dragon cauldron and brought Sandalwood and the others out. They can't see us. Now is the time for us to carry out our plan, Knight Sorrow said excitedly. Very good. We have a high chance of winning. Everything else aside, once we set up the teleportation array, we will start the battle. Without the defensive array of Sky Tiger Pass, our 9 Heavens Legion will not be afraid of them. Newlin was also very excited. No. It's best we leave some backup plans and make more preparations. That will reduce our losses. Knight Sorrow shook his head as he continued setting up and expanding the array formation. Summer City also had things to do. Every time Knight Sorrow set up an array formation, he would use his will and rule power to help hide the energy fluctuations. This was different from when he tore open the space barrier. That was the energy fluctuations between two worlds. He could not help hide it, but now he could help. 4 hours later, a large illusion array with a diameter of more than 10 miles was set up by Knight Sorrow. In the middle of the illusion array, Knight Sorrow also set up a teleportation array. After setting up the teleportation crystal, the crystal lit up. Forever be forever free read novel, what's the next step? Newlin's face was red. He was too excited. It was almost time for him to make a name for himself. Knight Sorrow said, next I'll need your help. Senior brother, go to the Qing Emperor's palace and apply for a battle. Also tell him about the defense area. Also, Newlin Monarch, teleport back and find someone to set up a teleportation array so that our men can enter the battle quickly. Junior brother, you have to be the one to request the battle. You are the commander of the army. If you want to slap someone in the face, it will only hurt you. Once Newlin finishes setting up the teleportation formation, we can go back together and request the battle. It won't take much time. Sandalwood looked at Knight Sorrow and shook his head. Knight Sorrow said, that's fine. Our next target is the Sky Tiger Army's 4 barracks. When the battle starts, they won't be able to coordinate with each other. It'll be easier for us. Next, Yi Shang entered the 8-dragon cauldron. He led Sandalwood and Xia Cheng, who had also entered, to the nearest military camp. Then he began to set up the array formation. This time, Yi Shang set up the Heavenly Adept Grade 1000 Diffraction Array formation that he had developed after his array formation cultivation had advanced. Normally, it would be difficult to set up an array formation in a barracks because there were many experts. However, because there were so many experts, no one was on guard. Everyone thought that the small energy fluctuations were caused by cultivation. Knight Sorrow used half a day to set up an array formation around the barracks. Back in the 8-dragon cauldron, Knight Sorrow knocked his forehead. I can't go on. I didn't bring enough spirit stones. The 9 Heavens Army's resources are managed by the 4 generals. I don't have any with me. Sandalwood was stunned when he heard Knight Sorrow's words. Don't worry. There's something I haven't told you yet. You took His Majesty's reward and the Samsara token. Manager, he didn't think it was safe for her to keep the 30,000 sacred spirit stones, so she left them with me. Summer City took out a storage ring and handed it to Knight Sorrow. You came at the right time, so we can continue. Senior brother, Uncle Xia, remember the location of the formation. Once the battle starts, don't worry about anything else. Just insert 2 holy spirit stones filled with energy into the ground of the formation and the formation will be activated. Only a few soldiers in this camp will be able to escape, said Yi Shan. Knight Sorrow then used 3 days to set up the cutting array formation in the other 3 barracks. After returning to the illusion array, Knight Sorrow let Sandalwood and Uncle Xia out. He brewed a pot of tea and thought. At that moment, Newlin arrived with the other 3 generals. Commander, when are we going to fight? Qin Leitang asked. I forgot about a very important issue, Knight Sorrow said with a sigh. Junior brother, the cutting array formation in the barracks are set up. Is there anything that can affect the battle? Sandalwood asked. My idea has always been to fight and take it. But how do we defend it after we take it? The two sides of Heaven Tiger Pass are ancient glaciers that cannot be crossed. Therefore, this canyon became a natural stronghold. The Crimson Emperor Kingdom has been operating for countless years, and it is all about defense. The direction of the stronghold's defense is facing our Azure Imperial Dynasty, and they don't have any defenses against themselves. This led to the fact that after we took it, there was no natural defense. If they want to fight, they will fight. How many people do we have in the Nine Heavens Legion to fight them? Knight Sorrow's words made them fall into deep thought. This was indeed a difficult problem. I can set up some arrays, but they're not good enough. I can only use them in the middle of a battle. If I just leave them there and wait for them to break, they won't be able to do it. I don't have that ability, Knight Sorrow explained. Your Highness, I'm sorry. I only know how to fight. I don't know how to set up arrays, Summer City said apologetically. How about this? We'll report this to His Majesty. If we can't defend it, then we'll destroy it. No one will want this stronghold in the future. If we want to fight, then we'll fight to our heart's content. Our Nine Heavens army has never been afraid of anyone, Tranquility said. Chapter 1160. Genius 1 second. Remember, I'll bring you an exciting novel. Good. I also need to prepare a battle report. John Tan nodded. All of you wait here quietly. Don't do anything rash. Knight Sorrow looked at the Nine Heavens army sovereigns and said, Your Highnesses, please go quickly. I'm in a hurry. Wei Wei said. Knight Sorrow and Jean Tan sat on the teleportation formation set up by the Nine Heavens Army's formation master and returned to the Nine Heavens building. After a short discussion, Knight Sorrow and Jean Tan arrived at the Qing Emperor's palace's military headquarters. The Azure Supreme, the Arch Dynasty, was a huge peak faction, a super dynasty. Without the Azure Supreme Thearcha's interference, everything was run independently. There were also officials overseeing everything. When the two arrived at the military headquarters, a few elders stood up to greet Knight Sorrow and Jean Tan. Knight Sorrow and Jean Tan returned the greeting and sat down. I'm Military Commander Tan Lin. Your Highnesses should be here for the Nine Heavens Army's defensive zone, right? An elder from the military headquarters asked. Yes. Call Qing Lin and Qing Wan over. Jean Tan pulled Knight Sorrow and sat down. Tan Lin nodded and sent someone to inform Qing Lin and Qing Wan. Now that there were two armies in the empire, the Qilin army naturally couldn't monopolize the defensive zone. After Qing Lin received the message, he informed Qing Wan and the two met at Qing Lin Palace. They should be asking for a defensive zone. Brother, you can say that our defense is very good. Give them a barren zone. They can take it or leave it. Qing Wan said. Qing Lin nodded. He had the same idea. If they insisted on arguing over a defensive zone, Jean Tan and Knight Sorrow would lose face. It wouldn't be easy for them to build up their reputation again. When they arrived at the military headquarters, the four princes sat on the two sides of a long table. Below them were some officials from the military headquarters. Your Highnesses, please take a look at the defensive zones. After that, you all can discuss how to divide the defensive zones, Tan Lin said as he took out a military blueprint and placed it on the table. Our Lin Luan army has defended Dynasty's territory well. Now that the Nine Heavens army wants to take over, it will mess up our original plan. Let's find a place that won't affect the current situation. Green Unicorn immediately rejected the idea of taking action in Dynasty's territory. Is the situation good now? I haven't participated in any wars for 5 million years. Qinglin, what territory have you guys taken for Dynasty? This used to belong to Dynasty, and this used to belong to Dynasty. But now, it belongs to someone else. Is it because you're not capable enough, or did you give it to them? Jean Tan pointed at a few spots on the map. What do you mean? Qing Lin was embarrassed by Si Tan's words. I just wanted to tell you to behave yourself in front of me. Don't be so arrogant. If it wasn't for my master, you're just a piece of shit. Jean Tan stood up and pointed at Qing Lin. You've gone too far. Qing Lin stood up too. Defense zone, Nine Heavens army wants it here. Jean Tan looked at Qing Lin Crown Prince and pointed at the map. Impossible. That's the area that I've guarded for 5 million years. You want it? Impossible. Qing Lin shouted as he looked at the area that Zhan Tan pointed at. Don't be so arrogant. Why should you take it just because you want it? Green Phoenix stood up too. I won't bully you guys. Night Sorrow, tell them why? Zhan Tan nodded at Night Sorrow. Generals, in this area, the Qing Emperor's dynasty has always been suppressed. We've always been on the defensive. The Green Qilin army can't change this situation. The resources that we've used up every year are a burden to the dynasty. Therefore, the Nine Heavens army wants to take over and change this, Night Sorrow said. The Green Qilin army can't change this, but you can? Qing Lin looked at Night Sorrow with disdain. The Red Emperor's country has always been plundering the Qing Emperor's dynasty using Heaven Tiger Pass as proof. You guys can't change this, but I can. Therefore, you have to give it up, Night Sorrow said. Hair, shameless boasting. If you can take it, the Lin Wan army will give you the area you want. If you can't, then don't talk so big in the future. The Nine Heavens army will retreat when they see the Lin Wan army. Qing Lin slammed the table and shouted. Insulting Night Sorrow is nothing, but insulting the soldiers of the Nine Heavens army? Qing Lin, you're really something. Since you said that, I have something to say too. What if I take it down? I won't ask the Lin Wan army to do anything, but you'll take a detour when you see the Nine Heavens war flag. Do you dare bet? Night Sorrow looked at Qing Lin coldly. Do you think I'm afraid of trash like you? I'll give you 1 month. If you can't take down Heaven Tiger Pass in 1 month, then scram, Qing Lin shouted again. Military officials were all witnesses to today's bet. It's settled. Zhan Tan stood up and said. The military officials all stood up and cupped their hands. They knew that the army's defense area would be a big problem, but they didn't expect the conflict to be so intense. Junior brother, have some tea with master. We're going to work. Zhan Tan called out to Night Sorrow, and the two of them walked towards the Azure Sky Pavilion. The two of them stood outside the pavilion for a while, then Shen Daozi invited them in. Did you have a fight? Night Sorrow, what are you planning to do? Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I'm here today to ask Master some questions. Master, please make a decision. Night Sorrow bowed. You're both important. I won't ask about what's going on between you two. Qing Emperor shook his head. He was worried that Night Sorrow would have concerns. I'm not asking about that. I'm asking if the Qing Emperor's dynasty wants Heaven Tiger Pass, Night Sorrow said. Yes or no? Do you have to just say it? Qing Emperor looked surprised. Master, if you say no, I'll turn it into a wasteland. If you want it, then you'll have to think of something, Night Sorrow said. You can turn it into a wasteland? Qing Emperor stood up. He didn't ask about the war between the dynasties, but he knew how important Heaven Tiger Pass was to the Red Emperor's kingdom and Qing Emperor's dynasty. He knew how much influence it had. Yes, I've already made some preparations. I wanted to take it, but I can't. Heaven Tiger Pass is currently defending against the Qing Emperor's dynasty. They don't have any defenses against themselves. If I take it down, I won't be able to defend it. If it falls into their hands, it'll be a threat to us. Night Sorrow took out the map of Heaven Tiger Pass and placed it on the table. Then he pointed out the key points. Night Sorrow, Master, this is a good map. Why are you messing it up? Shen Daozi looked at the map and pouted. This isn't messing it up. The places marked here are areas that you can control, Zhan Tan said with a smile. What? Night Sorrow, you can control these places? Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow with surprise. Chapter 1161. Genius 1 second. Remember, I'll bring you an exciting novel. How can we give up Sky Tiger Pass? We have to. They spent a lot of effort and resources to build it. It would be a pity to destroy it. The Sky Tiger Pass is a natural formation, but I've studied it and can change it to our advantage. As long as you can take it down, I'll find a way to help you build the defense. If you need resources and manpower, the dynasty will provide it. The Qing Emperor made his decision. Okay, then I'll wait for the news. Night Sorrow bowed. Night Sorrow, once this matter is settled, I will help you forge a monarch-ranked battle suit. This is the array disc for the Great Disorienting Fog Array. After taking down Heaven Tiger Pass, release the disorienting fog array in the area you need to defend. Then inform me. The Azure Supreme the Arch handed Night Sorrow an array disc. Thank you, Master. I'll take my leave. Night Sorrow nodded. Night Sorrow and Sandal returned to the 9-story tower. They each drank a jar of wine at the corner of the tower with the Jiutian battle flag. After drinking, Night Sorrow and Sandal teleported back to Sky Tiger Pass. "Commander, when are we going to fight? Sky Tiger Pass is right in front of us." Nu Lin was a little anxious. Night Sorrow then told them about the Qing Emperor's decision. "Commander, please give the order." Nu Lin and the other three bowed. "Send the people here now. I'll go to the commander's office to poison them. Then we'll start the fight." Night Sorrow said, "Junior brother, we can't do that. You can't use poison in the world of samsara unless you're a practitioner of poison. There's no restriction in individual fights, but if you use poison in a group fight, you'll be a public enemy. That's the rule." Sandal pulled Night Sorrow back. "Then we can only fight according to the current situation. Send the people here first and then assign the task." Night Sorrow nodded. The 9 Heavens Legion, who were already prepared, quickly teleported into the illusion array. Although it was a little crowded, it was still very quiet. "Next, we'll arrange for the battle. 2 military regions will attack one of the enemy's armies in a pincer attack. We'll fight according to the arrangement of the military camps. The 2 armies will be led by 1 army commander. Thunder Army Commander, you'll lead the Thunder Army and Dingxiang Army to attack this place." Night Sorrow pointed at Sky Tiger Stronghold's northwest military camp on the map. "I promise to complete the mission." Qin Leitang tapped his chest armor. "General Tranquility, lead the Angry Lin Army and the Tranquility Army to attack the southeast barracks." Night Sorrow gave Tranquility the mission. "I promise to complete the mission." Tranquility tapped his chest plate with his left hand. "Remember one thing. If something unexpected happens and you can't hold on any longer, just pour your energy into the ground and hit 2 Holy Spirit stones. That way you'll be able to trap the enemy," Night Sorrow instructed Qin Leitang and Enping. "Where is your subordinate?" Nu Lin asked. "Don't rush. One by one. After the battle begins, senior brother, Old Summer, you 2 will activate the killing array outside the southwest and northeast barracks and trap the enemy. Me, General Nu Lin Army Commander, and General Wei Wei will destroy the teleportation array. Then we'll meet up at the Stronghold Commander's office. That's where the battle will take place," Night Sorrow said to Zhan Tan and Summer City. "Okay." Zhan Tan nodded. "Your Highness, be careful. Your subordinate will go and complete the mission Your Highness has assigned." Although Summer City wasn't willing, he couldn't go against Night Sorrow's will at this time. "Brothers, I, Night Sorrow, am very sorry. My combat power is limited, so I'll have to rely on everyone for the upcoming battle. I only have one request, and that is to stay alive. After the battle, everyone must stay alive." Night Sorrow turned around and bowed to the 9 Heavens Legion. Everyone bowed back to Night Sorrow. "Also, General Lei Ting and General Wei Ning, be careful. If the northwest and southeast barracks don't have any sovereigns, then you must support the Stronghold Commander's office as soon as possible. Their experts might be at the Stronghold Commander's office," Night Sorrow reminded Qin Lei Ting and Wei Ning. "Your subordinate understands." Qin Lei Ting and Wei Ning nodded. "Draw your weapons and raise your battle flag. Let's fight." Night Sorrow shouted and opened up a gap in the illusion array. As for the teleportation array, Night Sorrow didn't send anyone to guard it because Sky Tiger Pass didn't have the ability to counterattack. Once the illusion array was opened, the 9 Heavens Legion moved. Night Sorrow flew towards the teleportation array while Nu Lin Army Commander and Wei 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 followed closely behind Night Sorrow. After arriving at the teleportation formation, Nu Lin's giant halberd slashed towards the 2 monarchs guarding the teleportation formation. Wei Wei waved his sharp sword and killed some of the guards with his sword chi. Night Sorrow arrived at the teleportation formation and removed a few teleportation crystals. Then he destroyed the teleportation formation. "Alright, let's go to the Stronghold Commander's office. Once we take it down, the situation will be settled." Night Sorrow said and flew towards the Stronghold Commander's office. "Commander, slow down." Nu Lin Army Commander rode his beast and followed Night Sorrow. He was afraid that if something happened to Night Sorrow, then Zhan Tan wouldn't forgive him and the Qing Emperor would take care of her. After flying for a while, Summer City and Zhan Tan arrived. The 2 of them were there to complete their mission, but they were also worried about Night Sorrow's safety. This was a battle between King and Overlord level. Night Sorrow's 2-star King was too weak. If the Overlord level attacked, he would die in one hit. Then the few of them arrived at the Stronghold Commander's office. At this time the Sky Tiger Pass was filled with whistles, drums and thunder. Everyone knew that they had been ambushed. When Night Sorrow and the others arrived, 3 people walked out of the Stronghold Commander's office. "Summer City?" You are here to do such a sneaky thing. An old man looked at Summer City and said, Jianghu, aren't you here too? Summer City waved his sword and said, I am Majesty 4's protector. Majesty 4 is the commander. Of course I am here. The old man with a cold aura, Jianghu, said, What a coincidence. I am Knight Sorrow's protector. He is the commander of the Nine Heavens army. So I am here. No need to say anything. Let's fight. Summer City waved his sword and slashed at the old man. You will all die today. Jean Tan also held his blood-red sword in his hand. Jean Tan? Your Majesty, let's go. He is Jean Tan. Seeing Jean Tan's sword, Jianghu shouted. Jean Tan? Are you crazy? The white-clothed youth standing in front of the stronghold commander's office said. I am crazy, but I am fine. Jean Tan said. It is not a shame that I lost to you. The white-clothed man's face was very calm. Jiwa, you are wrong. You did not lose to me. You lost to my junior brother, Knight Sorrow. Jean Tan pointed at Knight Sorrow with his left hand. Knight Sorrow. 9 domain worlds Knight Sorrow. Seems like you are doing well in the Qing Emperor's dynasty. You didn't handle the red capital matter well and ended up in the Qing Emperor's dynasty. The white-clothed man looked at Knight Sorrow and thought of something. I will kill you today. Nu Lin waved his halberd and slashed at Chiwa. However, another man beside Chiwa stopped Nu Lin. Chapter 1162. Genius 1 second. Remember, I'll bring you an exciting novel to read. Wei Wei, protect His Highness Knight Sorrow. Sandalwood brandished her blade. The blood-red blade carried a soul-shaking aura. There were even black threads circulating within the blade. Destruction energy. Although it was only a small amount, Knight Sorrow knew that it was destruction energy. Knight Sorrow finally understood why Sandalwood was so famous. It was because her attributes and willpower were strong. The intensity of her attacks was not something an ordinary cultivator could possess. Your Highness, run. Jianghu roared. His roar was filled with despair because Summer City had already chopped off his left shoulder and arm. After shouting, his body was shrouded in blood as he tried to escape. Do you think you can escape today? Universe's 7 murders. Summer City brandished his blade and executed his ultimate move. It was considered a test since Jianghu was not on the same level as the Zhongyun monarch. He had to be cautious. As Summer City executed his ultimate move, the heavily injured Jianghu's body was sliced into pieces. However, Summer City, who had taken his weapon and interspatial ring, knew that it was only his combat doppelganger that was killed. At this moment, Sandalwood had also killed White Robe Chiwa. Chiwa attacked a few times to test the waters. He didn't dodge and allowed Sandalwood's blade to kill him. The one that died was also his combat doppelganger. Nu Lin had also finished his battle. Nu Lin, Wei Wei, go back to your respective legions. Without their commanders here, Lei Ting and Calm Peace Legion will be under pressure, Knight Sorrow said to Nu Lin and Wei Wei. The two of you can go. Elder Xia and I will stay here. Knight Sorrow's safety is not a problem. The 3 of us will occupy the stronghold commander's residence. Sandalwood nodded when she saw Nu Lin and Wei Wei looking at Knight Sorrow. After dealing with the 2 barracks, the 2 of you will surround the nearest barracks. Take care of the soldiers that rush out. Don't let a single one escape. If you can subdue them, tie them up. Do you have any ideas? Knight Sorrow asked. Yes, Commander, don't worry. Nu Lin and Wei Wei nodded. They now admired Knight Sorrow from the bottom of their hearts. The army needed such a strategist. Summer City and Sandalwood followed Knight Sorrow into the stronghold commander's office. The 2 of them were filled with killing intent and they killed anyone they saw. Moments later, the commander-in-chief's residence was taken down. Those who weren't killed were sent to the courtyard. There was a group of people kneeling there as well as some women. These were Chiwa's family members. All of you quiet down. War is cruel, but I won't harm the innocent. Uncle Xia, watch this place. No one is allowed to touch the resources of the commander-in-chief's office, Knight Sorrow said to Summer City. What about you, Your Highness? Summer City did not want to leave Knight Sorrow's side. Senior brother and I will go to the other battlefield to take a look. There are still 2 troops trapped by the death trap array that need to be dealt with. We will come over once we are done, Knight Sorrow said. Summer City thought for a moment and nodded. With Sandalwood by Knight Sorrow's side, it was unrealistic for anyone to touch Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow arrived at the Northwest military camp and realized that the battle had already ended. A few large metal cages were filled with captives. A small group of Thunder Army soldiers was guarding them. The leader of the guards was Achio. "Greetings, Commander." Achio and his men bowed to Knight Sorrow. "Watch them well and don't mistreat them. Soldiers who protect their country deserve respect. After the battle, there will be appropriate arrangements," Knight Sorrow said to Achio. Soon after, Knight Sorrow arrived at the northeast barracks, where the battle was still going on. Qin Leitang and Wei Wei led the Thunder Army and Dingxiang Army to surround the perimeter of the confinement killing array. They captured and killed the soldiers who rushed out. "Commander, you are here. Everything is going well," Qin Leitang said as he waved the large sword in his hand. "How are the casualties?" Knight Sorrow asked. This was what he was most worried about. He didn't want his brothers who came with him to be carried back. "There are very few deaths. Some are seriously injured but more are lightly injured." Qin Leitang's face was filled with excitement when he said this. "That's good. We will continue to deal with them in this manner. When there are no more enemies rushing out and there are no more experts left inside, we will release the death trap array and wipe them all out." Knight Sorrow waved his arm. "Yes." Qin Leitang and Wei Wei bowed. "All right, I will go to the battlefield of the angry Qilin army to take a look. Another small group will be sent to the stronghold commander's office to maintain order." Knight Sorrow instructed and went to the battlefield of the angry Qilin army and Ning with Sandalwood. The situation at the southwest military camp where the angry Qilin army and Ping army were at was similar to Qin Leitang's. Knight Sorrow arranged for the heavily injured to rest. They would first surround and kill them, then release the death trap array and finish them off once and for all. Following which, Yi Shang and Santan flew along the terrain of the Heaven Tiger Pass. When they reached the edge of the city, Yi Shang took out the array disc that the Azure Supreme the Arch had given him and threw it into the air to activate it. The array was activated and a fog shrouded the surroundings. After doing this, Knight Sorrow and Sandalwood returned to the stronghold commander's office. At this time, the Nine Heavens war flag was erected in the corner of the stronghold commander's office. "The outcome is set. Junior brother, you did well." Sandalwood patted Knight Sorrow's shoulder. He was quite impressed. Sandalwood was an invincible commander with tyrannical combat strength. He was good at fighting and killing. He couldn't have used tactics like Knight Sorrow to easily end the battle with almost no casualties. "Senior brother, don't praise me. The Nine Heavens army is strong enough. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to win this battle." Knight Sorrow smiled and shook his head. In the main hall of the stronghold commander's office, Summer City hugged his sword and sat. When he saw Knight Sorrow and Sandalwood enter the hall, he stood up. "Uncle Xia, I'll have to trouble you to make a trip and tell Master that Heaven Tiger Pass has been taken. Now, we need to hurry up and figure out how to build a defense. Otherwise, when the enemy counterattacks, our great fog array alone won't be enough," Yishan said to Xia Cheng. "Okay, I will go immediately. Your Highness, please don't leave Princess Sandalwood and the other commanders. Safety is important." Summer City reminded Yi Shiwen before leaving. "Senior brother, after taking down this place, we can use it as a base to attack and defend. It will also be convenient for us to fight against the Dark Abyss," Knight Sorrow said. "Soldiers always want to make a name for themselves in their first battle. Junior brother, you are ruthless enough. You are destined to be recorded in the history of the Qing Emperor's dynasty," Sandalwood said. Knight Sorrow and Sandalwood then walked around the stronghold commander's office. Sandalwood didn't know what Knight Sorrow was doing. However, after walking for a while, Knight Sorrow's face changed. "Senior brother, attack the ground. There really is a teleportation portal." Knight Sorrow held the sky splitter and attacked the ground. When Sandalwood heard Knight Sorrow's words, her face changed as well. She slashed the ground with her battle sword. A few feet away, Knight Sorrow and Sandalwood slashed through the ground. It was an underground armory. There was a teleportation portal in the middle. There were a few guards on both sides of the portal. One was an overlord and the other was a king. "Kill?" Sandalwood's battle sword slashed towards the guards. The guards' faces changed. They didn't expect to be discovered so quickly. They could only fight with their weapons. Chapter 1163. Genius 1 second. Remember, I'll bring you an exciting novel. The guards were pushed back by Sandalwood, giving Knight Sorrow a chance. When Knight Sorrow destroyed the teleportation formation, the guards' expressions changed. "We don't have a chance. He's escaped. I'll hold him back. You guys kill that one. He's the key." The Sovereign Lord saw that the teleportation formation was destroyed and shouted, then pounced on Sandalwood. At this moment, Knight Sorrow used the spatial ren to charge upwards. He could not see the cultivation levels of the guards. What else could he do other than run? All of you must die. Sandalwood waved his battle saber and slashed at Knight Sorrow's back. He was covering for Knight Sorrow. He could not stop all of them, so he could only stop most of them. Knight Sorrow came out of the ground, turned around and used the ultimate kill. Killing one is enough. King, who had dodged Sandalwood's attack and caught up to Knight Sorrow, swung his sword. The difference between their cultivation levels was too great. This man's sword had forced Knight Sorrow back. If it weren't for the spatial shockwave behind Knight Sorrow's Heavenly Desolation absolute kill, he would have been severely injured. Brothers, go. Sensing the intense energy waves, Achio and the rest immediately formed a battle formation to stop King from attacking Knight Sorrow. Achio and the rest were not King's match. However, this King's target was Knight Sorrow and did not attack Achio and the rest. Therefore, Achio and the rest were able to block him. The ground in the distance was shaking violently. The battle was still going on. Just as Yi Shang and the others were being suppressed by this sovereign king whose cultivation was unknown, Wei Wei appeared. She had originally come back to ask Yi Shang to release the death trap array, but when she saw the situation she was instantly enraged. She waved her battle saber and suppressed this sovereign king. After a few slashes she killed this sovereign king. At this moment, Sandalwood rushed out of the ground with his saber in hand. Junior brother, are you all right? Don't worry, I was right. They have a backup teleportation array, Knight Sorrow said. Commander, what's going on? Wei Wei asked. I was worried that other than the teleportation array in the middle of the stronghold, there were other hidden teleportation arrays as well. I didn't have the time to conduct a large-scale search. Senior apprentice brother and I walked around the commander's manor and discovered a hidden teleportation array. Now, the hidden teleportation array has been destroyed. Knight Sorrow let out a sigh of relief. If they hadn't discovered the hidden teleportation array, it would have been a huge problem. Fortunately, junior brother, you are fine. If something happened to you, how am I going to explain it to Master? Sandalwood was a little angry. The opponent had really caught Knight Sorrow and tried to kill him. What Sandalwood and Knight Sorrow didn't know was that after Chiwa returned, he had begun his counterattack. At this moment, he was mobilizing his men and had even instructed them to pay attention to a person called Knight Sorrow. Therefore, the people guarding the teleportation array killed Knight Sorrow as soon as they saw him. Commander, it's like this. We no longer have anyone who can escape from the death trap array. Therefore, I came to ask you to release the death trap array and finish them off, Wei Wei said. Alright, I'll release the array. It's better to finish them off as soon as possible. Knight Sorrow nodded. Knight Sorrow went to release the array and Sandalwood followed. He didn't dare to leave Knight Sorrow's side. If an expert appeared, it would be troublesome. He didn't want the same thing to happen again. After that, Knight Sorrow released the arrays of the two camps. The two armies of the Nine Heavens Legion didn't feel any pressure to kill one army that didn't have much strength left. The Nine Heavens Legion had cages that were specially used to detain prisoners. Knight Sorrow had ordered that those who didn't resist were not to be killed. The furious Qilin army went to guard the area sealed off by the fog array. The Yinping army and Dingxiang army went to maintain the peace of Heaven Tiger Pass. The other thing was to search for blind spots. Those who didn't wear the insignia of the Nine Heavens Legion were all captured and detained. Look at the original chapter. The Thunderbolt army was to guard the commander's manor and the prisoners. When Knight Sorrow and Sandalwood returned to the commander's manor, they saw the Qing Emperor standing in the main hall. Summer City and Shendaozi were standing to the side. Very good. The Qing Emperor's officials will arrive soon. I'll go set up the array. The impregnable pass has to face impregnable passes on both sides. The Qing Emperor nodded to Knight Sorrow and left with Shendaozi. Your Highness, someone just reported that you were attacked. Are you all right? Summer City asked Knight Sorrow. With senior brother here, I'll be fine. Knight Sorrow smiled. Soon, someone came to the commander's manor to report that the Qing Emperor's army and the Ministry of Works had sent people over. Knight Sorrow arrived near the teleportation array. Your Highness, your subordinate Lin Hui from the Ministry of Works has been ordered to bring people here. His Majesty has ordered us to follow your Highness's orders. Lin Hui bowed. Your subordinate Tan Lin is now at your Highness's disposal. Tan Lin from the Ministry of Works had arrived. Sirs, please make the preparations. Deliver the materials and arrange for the workers. After that, go to the fog array to survey the terrain. Then draw up the defensive blueprints. Knight Sorrow said. After giving his instructions, Yi Shang returned to the commander's office. Now he had to deal with a problem, which was how to deal with these captives. Senior brother, I would like to ask, how do we deal with the prisoners in the past? Knight Sorrow asked Sandalwood. It's simple. You either submit or kill them. There is no third option. Sandalwood said. No, there are so many of them. If we kill them if they don't submit, how many people will we have to kill? Knight Sorrow shook his head and refused. He didn't want to break up other people's families because of him. The elderly would lose their children and the young would lose their father's love. Don't kill them? Let them go? Then no one will be afraid of your Nine Heavens army. They won't feel pressured to fight you. Soldiers don't kill. This won't work. Sandalwood looked at Knight Sorrow and said, Senior brother, I don't want to do things against my will. However, I won't harm the interests of the Qing Emperor's dynasty and Nine Heavens army. Knight Sorrow sighed. Okay, think about it. Don't feel too pressured. If you don't want to do it, I will do it. Sandalwood said. Knight Sorrow smiled at Sandalwood. He knew that this was his senior brother. He was willing to take on anything for him. Everything in Heaven Tiger Pass was proceeding in an orderly manner. Knight Sorrow was still studying the blueprints of Heaven Tiger Pass. In the future, this would be the base of the Nine Heavens army. There were some problems that needed to be solved. Knight Sorrow had already approved the blueprints from the Ministry of Works and the military department. The craftsmen had already begun construction on the other side of Heaven Tiger Pass. After 7 days, the Qing Emperor returned. The formation is complete. It is called the Great Emperor's Heaven Sealing Formation. It has the same effect as the Heaven Sealing Formation over there. This is a passageway formation plate. In other words, you need to activate the formation plate to open a path. If you want to go out and fight, you can go out and fight. Without the formation plate, you can't enter or leave. The Qing Emperor handed a formation plate to Knight Sorrow. Thank you, Master. Knight Sorrow took the formation plate and bowed to the Qing Emperor. As for the Heaven Sealing Formation, I will also take care of it. I will make it so that only those with the passageway formation plate can control it. Otherwise, it will be the Heaven Sealing Formation of our Qing Emperor's dynasty. The Qing Emperor said. Chapter 1164. Genius 1 second. Remember for you to read. What's wrong? Qing Emperor asked. Master, it's my fault. I don't have a good idea on how to deal with the captives. Knight Sorrow said. I believe you can handle it well. I won't ask. Qing Supreme the Arch nodded. He had just heard Sandalwood's words and knew that Yi Shang would not face such a problem again. Shock. It was a real shock. The Azure Emperor dynasty was shaken. The Nine Heaven Legion, under the leadership of the new commander, His Highness Yi Shang, used only 1 day to take down the famous Heaven Tiger Pass in the world of Samsara. After the Heaven Tiger Pass was built in the Crimson Emperor dynasty, it had not changed owners for countless years. Now it was the Heaven Tiger Pass of the Azure Emperor dynasty. In Qinglin Palace, Qinglin was dispirited and his eyes were cold. Qinghuan sat beside him and didn't say anything. They didn't expect Knight Sorrow to really do it. He took down Heaven Tiger Pass in such a short time with the smallest price. The military department reported that less than 50 people died. This was less than 1% of the total number of casualties. This was a loss-free war. We lost. Qinglin took a sip of wine and said, Brother, we just lost. Sandalwood doesn't want to lead the Legion anymore. How long can he be powerful? We could hold on until Sandalwood fell. We can also hold on until he falls. Our Qinghuan Legion is not weaker than him. His cultivation is still low. This is a shortcoming. Qinghuan said. I'll hold on until he dies. Qinglin cursed. Qing Emperor and Shen Daozi, who were studying and dealing with the Heaven Lock Formation, were chatting. It's been less than a year. Yi Shang has only been in our Azure the Arch Empire for less than a year, and he has changed so much. Are my sons and daughters really stupid? No. Qing Emperor looked at Shen Daozi and said. The Heaven Lock Formation was not easy to deal with. It was a natural formation and had been dealt with by the masters of the Red Emperor's kingdom. Now the Qing Emperor had to refine and change it slowly. The key is that he has the support of Sandalwood. Your Majesty's love, Sandalwood's assistance, and his own strength led to this outcome, Shen Daozi said. That's the main point. If he can get Sandalwood's support, why can't Qinglin, Qinghuan, and the other princes do the same? It's human nature. Knight Sorrow didn't want my only senior brother to be helpless in the dark dungeon, so he tried to help him. However, my other children couldn't wait to step on sandalwood again, so the result was different, said the Qing Emperor. Anyone with great virtue must have a heart that ordinary people find difficult to possess. Knight Sorrow has such a heart, and besides, he has never thought about fighting for anything. He is actually someone who cares about his own strength, which is very similar to His Majesty, Xian Daozi said. The status that comes with one's own strength is the most stable. He became the king of time and space when he was a little over 100 years old. Slowly settling down, his strength will not be a problem, and he has a lot of space, said the Qing Emperor as he studied the Heaven-Lock formation. He is a little over 100 years old, and this achievement shows that he is very talented. Now that he is the commander of the army, his achievements will be great. He can go to the Samsara Palace whenever he wants. It would be strange if his cultivation did not improve quickly, Xian Daozi said with a smile. Ah, you see it very clearly. Now I want to see how he deals with the captives. This is the best time to see human nature, said the Qing Emperor. Your Majesty, you have to go back and do work. Don't forget that you promised him a monarch-level armor, said Xian Daozi. The original Q version are, it doesn't matter. It is worth it to have such a disciple. The Qing Emperor smiled. He was in a very good mood. Master and disciple were like father and son. Knight Sorrow was sensible and principled. The Qing Emperor admired him very much. Even if his son lost a battle, he was still happy. Knight Sorrow also started to get busy. In the impregnable pass built by the Emperor Heaven-Lock formation that the Qing Emperor had set up, he set up some trap and kill formations and illusionary formations. Now, his formation skills were very high because the clone in the Heaven-Lock Hall had been deducing and studying formations. Then, Knight Sorrow made adjustments to the defense of some of the strongholds in the pass. After refining the Heaven-Lock formation, the original entrance and exit was closed, and the new entrance and exit was made. When the Qing Emperor and Xian Daozi finished refining the formation plate, they went to see the other side of the Heaven Tiger Pass. They noticed the formation that Knight Sorrow had set up. Using the Emperor's Heaven Sealing formation and the Impregnable Pass as the foundation, you also set up a confinement killing formation and an illusory killing formation with only one entrance. Very good. The formation is also quite decent. Seeing the formation that Yi Shang had set up, the Azure Emperor nodded in satisfaction. Why don't you teach him some of my divination techniques? Xian Daozi said. If he walks the path of wisdom and support, he can become a great talent. Hold it right there, the Qing Emperor said, glaring at Xian Daozi. You're not allowed to bring that up again. You're my old friend, so I won't bring it up again. Next time, if anyone dares to bring it up again, I'll kill them. Yes, sir. Xian Daozi said, bowing slightly. Remember, the Qing Emperor said. He needs to achieve great things. Support cultivation is fine, but don't touch the heretical path. Your subordinate understands, Xian Daozi said, a bit taken aback. He had never imagined that the Qing Emperor would react so strongly. Chapter 1165. Genius 1 second. Remember, for you to read. Hasn't Nine Heavens' army been disbanded for 5 million years? Red Emperor looked at Chihuahua with suspicion. It's Nine Heavens' army. Sandalwood has appeared too, Jianghu said. To think that the mad demon Sandalwood could reappear. It seems like the luck of the Azure Imperial dynasty has changed. Back then, when we went to the Nine Regions world to look for the person of virtue, we were at a disadvantage. The Crimson Emperor thought for a moment before saying, Father, the person leading Nine Heavens' army is Knight Sorrow, who came from Nine Zones world. Chihuahua looked at Chido. Chido hadn't done his job well, which had led to the current situation. This person is very capable. Since we can't use him, we have to kill him as soon as possible. Pass down my order. Anyone who can kill Knight Sorrow will be rewarded with 1 million contribution points. The Crimson Emperor immediately gave out an order. Chihuahua, you will be the commander of Flying Tiger Army. You will be responsible for locking down Sky Tiger Pass. Chido, you will be responsible for building another army. Red Emperor gave another order. The Red Emperor's dynasty's power structure was different from that of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. In the Red Emperor's dynasty, the Red Emperor's princes and grandsons were in charge. This was mainly because the princes of the Red Emperor were very strong, and 2 of them were very outstanding. Chihuahua, I won't disappoint you again. 8th brother, I'm sorry. Chiwa bowed to Red Emperor and then he bowed to another man. It was Red Emperor's eighth son, Chi-Do. He was also the commander of Flying Tiger Army. Fourth Imperial Brother is thinking too much. This time, Fourth Imperial Brother was plotted against, and Imperial Brother's heart is also uncomfortable. What can I do for Fourth Imperial Brother is reasonable. Chi Yin shook his head. Okay, that's all for now. In addition, everyone think of a plan to take back the Heavenly Tiger Pass. If we don't take it back, we will become the laughing stock of the Red Emperor's country in the world of samsara. Also, Chiwa, take this armor and refine it. After saying this, the Red Emperor threw an armor to Chiwa and disappeared from the main hall. Chiwa's clone had been destroyed, and now it was his main body that was handling matters. He had bestowed the armor upon Chiwa, and the Red Emperor was worried that his son would perish. Chiwa's prestige among the many princes of the Red Emperor was very high, second only to the Crown Prince. His power was only lower than the Crown Prince, and Chi-Do controlled the appointment and removal of officials in the court and had great power. If other princes went to the world of 9 domains and caused such a big mess, the Red Emperor might deal with it. However, because it was Chi-Do, the Red Emperor did not mention anything about it. The construction of the Heavenly Tiger Pass was a big project that could not be completed in 10 days or half a month. However, with the Emperor's heaven sealing formation, the defense was very strong. Knight Sorrow was busy for the first few days. After a few days he relaxed and began to think about the problem, which was how to deal with the captives. He had captured thousands of captives, and among them there were hundreds of king. After thinking for a long time, Knight Sorrow still could not think of a good way to deal with them. Kill. He did not want to kill them. If he let them go, it would be like letting a tiger return to the mountain. While thinking, Knight Sorrow arrived at the martial arts practice field where the captives were kept. Greetings, Commander. Qin Leitang, who was guarding the captives, led his subordinates and bowed to Knight Sorrow. Brothers, you have worked hard during this period of time. It's time to deal with them. Knight Sorrow sighed and said, No. Commander Knight Sorrow, they're soldiers. They're just following orders and fighting. They haven't committed any crimes. As long as Commander releases my soldiers, I'm willing to submit. I'm willing to do anything for your highness. An old man got down on one knee and cupped his hands towards Knight Sorrow. Your highness, he is the 7 deadly general. Nu Lin and his subordinates attacked together to subdue him. Those two are also generals. The other general was killed by General Nu Lin. Qin Leitang pointed to the other 2 large meteorite metal cages. In the 2 meteorite metal cages, there were 2 people who were being treated specially. They were tied with meteorite metal chains. Commander Knight Sorrow, these are thousands of hot-blooded soldiers. They are innocent. You cannot kill soldiers who do not have the ability to resist. If you let them go, we will do what the 7 deadly generals said and be loyal to you. The 2 men with meteorite metal chains all over their bodies said. If that is the case, I have another choice. The 3 of you will swear allegiance to the Heavenly Tao unconditionally. The 3 of you will swear to the Heavenly Tao that you will not harm the interests of the Qing Emperor's empire. When you return, you will shed your armor and serve the people. You will not serve the Red Emperor's empire. Then you may leave. Knight Sorrow looked at the group of captives and said, Most Zinel chapter 8 previous piece, all right. A man keeps his word. I, 7 deadly general, will recognize Knight Sorrow as my master from today onwards. I will not betray you. Those who disobey will be struck by lightning. The burly 7 deadly general with a face full of beard swore. The other 2 generals, Ji Feng and Qi Wang, swore as well. To be able to give up everything for your brothers, the 3 of you are worthy of respect. No one has the right to humiliate you. Uncle Summer City, send the 3 of them to the other armies aside from the angry Qilin army. Tell the 3 generals that under my orders, the 3 of them will be deputy generals. When they are familiar with each other, they will be promoted to deputy generals, Knight Sorrow said to Summer City. Understood. Summer City was very excited because Knight Sorrow had easily increased the strength of the 9 Heavens army. General Lei Ting arranged for them to swear the Heavenly Tao oath. Just as I said, those who do not swear will still be enemies in the future. Kill them immediately. Those who swear the oath will be released and treated with kindness. Knight Sorrow said to Qin Lei Ting. Commander. 7 deadly general was a little anxious when Knight Sorrow did not say to release the captives. Let me make the arrangements first. Knight Sorrow looked at 7 deadly general. The Red Emperor's kingdom. If you do not go, inform the Qing Emperor's officials. Tell them that I want the families of 7 deadly General Ji Feng and Qi Wang. Tell them to send their families to the Sky Tiger Pass. I will release a few thousand soldiers of the Sky Tiger Army. Knight Sorrow said to Kai Feng again. Thank you, Commander. 7 deadly General and the other 2 bowed to Knight Sorrow. Today is my fault. No matter what the result is, I will personally send you away within a month. I hope you can live a peaceful life with your wives and children by your side. From now on, you will have nothing to do with the war, Knight Sorrow said to the thousands of captives in the meteorite metal cages. Thank you, Commander. The captives who had seen no hope, bowed. War is inevitable. This is all I can do. Knight Sorrow turned and left. Thank you, Commander. 7 deadly General and the other 2 kneeled again because Knight Sorrow had done everything he could for them. Get up. How should I put it? There are some things you should not know. Summer City shook his head. He was very emotional. How should I address you? You are following the commander. If you have anything to say, please say it. 7 deadly General said to Summer City. All right, then I'll take the liberty of speaking out of turn this time. Actually, His Highness didn't intend to kill anyone when he came this time. He said that it was time to solve the problem. He wanted you to swear a heavenly oath and leave. Who knew that you 3 would be so agitated? Summer City waved his hand to block the view of the other captives and said to 7 deadly General and the other 2. He felt that the 3 of them were quite pitiful. 7 deadly General Ji Feng and Qi Wang were stunned. They did not expect this at all. So, the commander said that today was his fault. However, he was very considerate. You have nothing to regret, Qin Leitang said. Chapter 1166. Genius 1 second. Remember, I'll bring you an interesting novel to read. I, 7 Ju, have no regrets. A defeat is a defeat. It is a blessing to meet such a forgiving general. Gale Qi Wang, what do you think? 7 Ju looked at Gale and Qi Wang. We are soldiers. We have no regrets. Perhaps this is fate, Gale said. I have some thoughts. It's a trap. Qi Wang said. Don't let anyone else know. Let's forget about this, Summer City said. Yishang was really happy. He had taken in 3 brave generals by accident. It was easy to find 1,000 soldiers but hard to find a good general. Good generals were hard to find. From the fact that 7 absolutes were willing to sacrifice themselves to protect the soldiers under their command, he could tell that they were qualified generals. When they arrived at the commander's office, Knight Sorrow threw a jar of wine to Sandalwood, who was in charge of the office. Junior, what happened? Why are you so happy? Sandalwood asked Knight Sorrow. Senior brother, a meat pie really fell from the sky. Yishang told him what had just happened. Although the 3 of them are stupid, they are hot-blooded men. They are all monarch-level generals. You have earned big this time. Green Qilin and Green Phoenix's armies are *T. Sandalwood knew that this battle had made Knight Sorrow's wings grow. 7 Ju and the others were loyal to Knight Sorrow. In other words, they were Knight Sorrow's personal strength. That's right. A general like this can definitely lead a good army. We didn't give them a chance to use our strategy this time. Otherwise, we would have suffered a great loss, Knight Sorrow said. Although they used tracks, Knight Sorrow didn't think it was an unfair victory. The soldiers were the tracks. Knight Sorrow didn't think it was an unfair victory. Junior, you don't have to worry too much about the army. When there is a big battle, just come out and command. Let the generals of the 9 Heavens army take care of it. They're all very strong. Nu Lin actually has the strength and ability to lead an army long ago. However, in the Qing Emperor's dynasty, only the generals appointed by His Highness and His Majesty can lead an army. He lacks the qualifications, Sandalwood said. Knowing how to use people is what a general should do. I will take care of it. I just don't know if the Red Emperor's country will send the families of 7 Ju and the others. Knight Sorrow nodded and expressed his concern. The military officer will send a letter back to the Empire. Those old officials of the Empire can't fight, but they are good at scheming. The Red Emperor's country also has our Qing Emperor's dynasty's intelligence network. Even if the Red Emperor's country doesn't want to, they can't ignore the lives of thousands of soldiers. They have to send the families over, Sandalwood said. That's right. If they don't compromise, then who would be willing to continue fighting for the Crimson Emperor Kingdom? Since senior brother has said so, it seems like this matter will succeed. Yi Shang's heart was also more certain. Junior brother, Master went to deal with the Heaven Lock formation again. It's already done, but he doesn't want any flaws. Once he's done, I'll go back with him and serve him for a while. With Elder Xia by your side, I'll be at ease, Sandalwood said to Night Sorrow. After seeing Night Sorrow's abilities for the past few days, Sandalwood was relieved. Night Sorrow had the ability to lead the Nine Heavens army. As for who wanted to kill Night Sorrow, Summer City wouldn't be easy to deal with. That's good. Senior brother, you should relax. There are many beautiful things in the world waiting for you to discover. Or maybe you can find a wife for me, Night Sorrow said with a smile. I will, haha. Sandalwood said with a smile. Sandalwood, you've changed a lot. The Qing Emperor and Shen Daozi walked in from outside. Uncle Shen Daozi, tell me about my changes. Sandalwood bowed to the Qing Emperor and said, I can't say for sure. The strongest change is that I've become more emotional. I'm not like before who only knew how to kill. Now I feel more human. Shen Daozi spoke about his feelings. The Qing Emperor nodded. This was the biggest change for Sandalwood. Thereafter, the Azure Supreme the Arch gave Yi Shang an array disc. It was an array disc used to seal and open the Heaven Lock array. The Heaven Tiger Pass can be said to be impregnable now. It will be very difficult to force your way in. Just be careful of any tricks. I will return now. I understand. Night Sorrow put away the disc array and nodded. Junior brother, I'll go back with Master. Be careful. Sandalwood reminded Night Sorrow. It's good that you're going back. Night Sorrow, didn't I give you a team of Qing Emperor's guards? They'll be your personal guards. You can bring them with you wherever you go. Don't be affected by what happened last time. They were just messing around. The Qing Emperor said. The Qing Emperor had never given anyone a team of Qing Emperor's guards. Neither Qing Lin nor Qing Wan were qualified. Now, because Night Sorrow wasn't strong enough, the Qing Emperor was afraid that he would be assassinated. Night Sorrow nodded and sent the Qing Emperor, Shen Daozi, and Sandalwood to the teleportation array. After returning to the Azure Sky Pavilion, the Qing Emperor sat in the main seat and tapped his finger on the table. After so many years, I've finally gotten my revenge. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, there's also something that will make revered master feel even better. Junior brother somehow managed to subdue the 3 generals of the Crimson Emperor Kingdom. I'm afraid the Crimson Emperor will feel as disgusted as if he had just eaten a fly. He'll have to eat it, said Jean Tan. Subdued 3 generals? The generals are all sovereigns. How can it be so easy to subdue them? The Qing Emperor looked at Sandalwood in surprise. It's difficult to subdue one sovereign, but Junior brother has subdued 3 at once. He didn't even think about it. It's like this. Sandalwood explained the situation to the Qing Emperor and Shen Daozi. Ah, he's so talented. He's so lucky. Those 3 are unlucky. This time, the Red Emperor has no choice but to give up the families of the 3 generals. Of course, if he's determined to be shameless, there's nothing he can do about it. The Qing Emperor said. Your Majesty, the officials of the Qing Emperor's palace have made 2 preparations. The first is to find the families of the 3 generals without going through the Red Emperor's empire's higher-ups. If they find them, they'll find a place to hide them and protect them. If they can't find them, they'll go through the officials of the Red Emperor's empire. The secret guard in charge of monitoring the Qing Emperor's palace stood up and reported. Not bad. They've done it well. The Qing Emperor nodded in satisfaction. It wasn't easy for Night Sorrow to be at the forefront. He didn't want the officials of the Qing Emperor's palace to fail. So this time the Red Emperor will have a hard time. He's embarrassed, but he still has to endure it. Sandalwood handed the Qing Emperor a cup of tea. That's right. The Qing Emperor nodded and took a sip of tea. After drinking, the Qing Emperor looked at Sandalwood and said, You have to learn how to make tea. What kind of nonsense is this? The way of tea is a good way to calm your mind. If you can't learn how to make tea, don't leave the Azure Sky Pavilion. Sandalwood didn't say anything. She'd seen Night Sorrow make tea a few times, so she tried it out. Your Highness Sandalwood, you have to learn. It's impossible to drink it. Shen Daozi took a sip of tea and smiled bitterly. Chapter 1167. Genius 1 second. Remember, I'll bring you an exciting novel. Sandalwood, your junior brother's cultivation is not high enough, but he is very mature in other aspects. Whether it is the way of the people, the way of the people, the way of the heart, the way of the heart, or the way of the body, his attainments are all very high. Not to mention you, even Qing Lin and Qing Wan are not good enough, the Qing Emperor said. Junior brother is very simple. He is not a scheming person. At least he is not a scheming person. Sandalwood did not expect the Qing Emperor to have such an evaluation of Night Sorrow. He is not scheming. It is because he cultivates the way of the world. It is easy for him to gain the loyalty of his subordinates. It is easy for him to gain the respect and admiration of others. The Qing Emperor corrected Sandalwood's misunderstanding. Xian Daozi, teach Sandalwood the way of tea. When you feel that you can drink it, let's talk again. The Qing Emperor flashed and left. Studying and deciphering the Heaven Lock formation had given him a lot of inspiration. Isn't this torture? Xian Daozi was speechless. He followed the Qing Emperor and was also a person who knew how to enjoy life. He could not imagine tasting Sandalwood's tea. It was no different from testing for poison. While Night Sorrow was looking at the construction plans in the commander's office, Old Xia went to the 9-story tower and brought the Qing Emperor's guards over. He told them about the Qing Emperor's decree. In the future they did not need to look after the 9-story tower. Their mission was to protect Night Sorrow, not the 9-story tower. The 4 generals of the 9 Heavens Army and 7 Absolutes also arrived at the commander's office. Why are you all here? Night Sorrow asked. He had asked Nu Lin and the others to come over to study the problem of resources. He did not expect 7 Absolutes and the others to come. It is like this. Some of my subordinates do not have family to worry about. They do not plan to go back. They want to follow me. The 2 of them are the same. They have some very close subordinates who do not have family to worry about and do not plan to leave. 7 Absolutes bowed and reported. That's a good thing. Do they have any requests? Night Sorrow stood up and asked. There is one condition. They are willing to risk their lives for the commander, but they are not willing to fight against the Red Emperor's nation. In other words, apart from the war against the Red Emperor's nation, they are willing to risk their lives, 7 Absolutes said. That's understandable and acceptable. Let's organize these people into a temporary army and treat them the same as the other 4 armies. Then I'll think of a better way. Night Sorrow nodded. Thank you, Commander. 7 Absolutes, Gale and Qi Wang bowed to Night Sorrow. Nu Lin, I called the 4 of you here to solve the problem of resource management. The Sky Tiger Pass is going to be a huge mess. You have to be responsible for everything. The resource warehouse is in the commander's office. Nu Lin, you will be responsible for the allocation and use of resources. And Ping, you will be responsible for the accounts. Lei Ting, you will be responsible for auditing the accounts. After you have checked the resources in the warehouse, you can allocate and use them. The temporary army formed by 7 Absolutes will also receive the same treatment, Night Sorrow said. Yes. Nu Lin and the others bowed and accepted the order. Also, I used nearly 4,000 Saint Spirit Stones to set up the formation. You have to return them to me. Also, you can decide whether the resources will be turned over to the Empire's treasury or only a portion of it. Night Sorrow spoke again. The Empire has a clear rule. Military merits are military merits. However, in war, half of the resources obtained from conquering cities must be turned over to the Empire's treasury, Nu Lin said. That's too much. The Sky Tiger Pass still needs to be built. How can we have so much to turn over? If we turn over so much, all of us will have nothing to eat. When we turn over the resources, I will write a statement and give you 30%, Night Sorrow said. All right. Nu Lin smiled and nodded. This was because Night Sorrow and Sandalwood were the same. They had to live well with their brothers before anything else. In the past, the 9 Heavens Legion turned over 33% of the resources, which was 1/3. Night Sorrow was even more ruthless than Sandalwood. Commander Qing Lin and Qing Wan are preparing to take advantage of His Highness. Isn't this giving them a chance? Qin Leitang was still a little worried. What does it have to do with them? They can do whatever they want. If they want to take advantage of me, they can do whatever they want. I have to turn over 30%. How can they get 10% in 5 million years? It's settled then. Night Sorrow waved his hand. He wasn't afraid of this. The generals all laughed. They liked Yi Shang's temperament. Soldiers were afraid of following a commander until their bones went soft. If they were afraid of this and that, then they wouldn't be able to do anything. Also, when I'm not around, Nu Lin, you will be in charge of everything in the 9 Heavens Legion. You can even go to war. Now, if 2 of the 4 generals object, your plan will have to be put on hold and reported to me, Night Sorrow said to Nu Lin. Nu Lin and the others bowed and accepted the order. There is something else. I have set up many arrays around the 4 camps. There are Holy Spirit stones underground. If the soldiers have nothing to do, dig them out and put them in the storage. From now on, 1 general will be on duty at the commander's residence. 7 absolutes, you 5 will take turns. No one can be absent, Night Sorrow said again. He waved his hand and sent them away. After leaving the commander's residence, Nu Lin called them to the Nu Lin army's camp for a drink. It feels good. I've been holding back for so many years. Now that I am with His Highness Night Sorrow, I don't have to hold back anymore. Nu Lin sighed. The commander looks weak, but he has a domineering aura in his bones. You can't judge a person by his appearance. Wei Wei was a little touched. It's just that his cultivation is a little weak, and Ning said, but her voice was a little soft. What do you know? Do you know how old the commander is? He is not even 120 years old. King is not even 120 years old and has 2 high-level attributes. How can he be weak? When you are 120 years old, you might still be trying to smooth things over. Qin Leitang interrupted and Ning. So young? Wei Wei was a little stunned. You haven't seen his information, but I have. Almost all the records are legends. He is a realm lord. Do you understand? His main body is immortal in his own world. Who can do that? Even His Majesty can't do that. Qin Leitang said. He is still a realm lord? Nu Lin muttered as he rubbed his beard. Do you know how the commander came to the world of reincarnation? It was Xian Daozi who divined that a cultivator with a body of merit would appear in the 9 regions world. His Majesty sent Qing Yuan to the 9 regions world to bring the commander back. Qing Yuan left the commander in the Thunder Army. Qin Leitang took a sip of wine and said, So you're saying that the commander-in-chief was once a pawn under you? Wei Wei's interest was piqued. Dog fart pawn. After the commander arrived at the Thunderbolt Army, he started the challenge. You all know about the Massacre God territory. He started the challenge at the Massacre God territory. The strongest squad leader, Achio, and the strongest squad leader, Wuxia, were both taken down. You guys know Wuxia. His cultivation is slow, but his battle prowess is strong. 10 years ago he also became a 5-star sovereign king. However, he was still defeated by the commander. At that time he was in the Thunderbolt Army, and the commander was a 2-star sovereign king deputy commander. Qin Leitang explained. Chapter 1168. In other words, although the commander is a 2-star king, he has the power of a mid-level king? And Ning asked. That's right. That was before I took His Majesty as my master. His Majesty has many secret techniques. Now, the combat power of the commander will only be stronger than before, no weaker than before. Also, this is just a clone of His Majesty, Qin Leitang said. This is really strong. Actually, it is enough that the commander is a good leader. His arrangement today shows that he trusts us enough. He will give us enough space, Wei Wei said. 7 Ju, now that you are following the commander, we are all brothers. In the future there will be no distinction between us. The commander talked about the 4 of us today. If more than 2 of us object, then the plan will be put on hold. I will change it here. The 5 of us, if we have a plan in the future, we will follow the majority. If we really can't, then we will report to the commander, Nu Lin said. General Nu Lin, is this appropriate? 7 Ju stood up and asked. It is. I will take responsibility if anything happens. Nu Lin reached out and pulled 7 Ju to sit down. He also poured wine for Ji Feng and Qi Wang. This time the 9 Heavens Army did not give you a chance to fight fair and square. But there is no choice because the commander's strategy has reached this stage. No one can say that the victory was unfair. No one can say that the victory was unfair. In a battle between armies, the commander's strategy and tactical arrangements are the most important. Next is the combat power of the army. The commander of the Sky Tiger Army, Chiwa, is very strong, but this time there was no chance at all. So the Sky Tiger Army lost. This should be a classic battle, Qi Wang said. Here, brothers, I wish you all a happy life in the 9 Heavens Army. Nu Lin raised his wine glass. Night Sorrow also stretched. Things were going well, so there was nothing for him to do. After that, Night Sorrow patrolled the Sky Tiger Pass, but Summer City and Fei Xiu were following him. Night Sorrow could not do without them. Summer City said that unless Night Sorrow was with his wife, she would not leave his side. Fei Xiu also had the same intention. This made Night Sorrow feel helpless. Inside the Tianhu Pass, Night Sorrow patrolled the area. Seeing that everything was normal, he wanted to return to the 9 grand floors to see his family and wife. However, he couldn't leave here. High-grade teleportation stones are hard to come by. Why don't we set up a teleportation formation here and connect it to Qing Emperor City and the 9 stories tower? That would be much more convenient. Night Sorrow said. He was really worried about his family because Sikong Chuyu and Aoi were both pregnant. Ask the people from the Ministry of Works. It's impossible that they don't have the materials. If His Highness has a request, they have to deal with it, said the head of Summer City. Night Sorrow then found Lin Hui, the official from the Ministry of Works who was still building the defense of the impregnable pass. We have a teleportation stone in Dynasty's treasury. I'll arrange it right away. Where do you plan to set it up, Your Highness? Lin Hui agreed to Night Sorrow's request immediately. It's the 9 stories tower. The 9 stories tower occupies a large area and there's still a lot of empty space behind it. We'll build it in the future for the families of the 9 Heavens Army to live in, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Okay. The Ministry of Works is also responsible for the construction of the houses for the families of the soldiers. When the time comes, we'll take care of it for Your Highness. Lin Hui's attitude was very good. Out of respect, Night Sorrow brought the 9 Heavens Army this time to show off for the Qing Emperor dynasty. Chapter 1. Part 1. Everything was proceeding in an orderly manner. New Lin brought people and handed over the resources. The accounts were not fake. Along with the account of the resources handed over, there was also a letter from Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow explained that the 9 Heavens Army needed resources. The construction of the Jianghu Pass also needed resources, so they handed over 30%. Even though it was only 30%, it still amounted to 200,000 Saint crystals. There was also a large number of cultivation aiding pills and some materials, which were worth 500,000 Saint crystals. This was the supreme world. In the profound heaven world, the Tiannan dynasty's Saint crystals were worth a few hundred. In the Qing Emperor dynasty, it was worth tens of thousands. The Ministry of Works also built the teleportation array to the 9 stories tower. However, Night Sorrow only went back to take a look before returning to the Jianghu Pass. The construction of the Jianghu Pass and the heaven locking array on both sides of the Jianghu Pass were not something that could be done in a day or two. Night Sorrow also went to the heaven locking array and the heaven locking array on both sides of the Jianghu Pass. He tried to travel through space but he found that it was impossible. After knowing how Night Sorrow entered, the Qing Emperor dynasty naturally took precautions. When he set up the array, he strengthened the space and suppressed the turbulence in space. Night Sorrow did not return, but the situation in the Qing Emperor dynasty was surging. Some things gradually emerged and all of them were aimed at Night Sorrow. They were all impeaching Night Sorrow. It was Qing Lin and Qing Wan who organized the other princes and many officials to impeach Night Sorrow. The reason was that Night Sorrow formed a clique for personal gain, embezzled resources, and wanted to occupy the Jianghu Pass to establish his own kingdom. Night Sorrow did not know about these things, but it caused a stir in the Qing Emperor dynasty. The Shadow Guards had already reported it to the Qing Emperor. They are very good at scheming. The Qing Emperor dynasty did not have any expression on his face after hearing the report. This is too unreliable. Zhan Tan was a little angry, and the hand that was brewing tea trembled. They are not stable. Let's do it again. Xian Daozi said. Back then, no one impeached you because you had accumulated enough power. Night Sorrow has only been with me for a short time, so they naturally want to try. The Qing Emperor dynasty looked at Zhan Tan and said. He knew that Zhan Tan was a little worried about Night Sorrow. Isn't this slandering? Forming a clique for personal gain, embezzling resources, establishing his own kingdom. What is all this? Zhan Tan said. It is slandering. Let's see how Night Sorrow deals with it. This is also a test for him. The Qing Emperor dynasty said. Night Sorrow cultivated in the Jianghu Pass every day. When he had nothing to do, he would read the letter that the Qing Emperor dynasty had taught him. One day when Night Sorrow was reading the letter, someone from the Qing Emperor dynasty came. It was the Qing Emperor dynasty who wanted him to go back to the Qing Emperor dynasty. Night Sorrow was a little confused. He did not understand why the Qing Emperor dynasty wanted him. He thought it should be nothing because the Jianghu Pass was a place that had to be managed. There was no way the 9 Heavens Army could be mobilized. As for other arrangements, it was also unlikely. Your Highness, it might be something troublesome. If the Qing Emperor dynasty wanted to see you personally, it would be the Qing Emperor dynasty's guard, not some official from the Qing Emperor dynasty's palace. It seems like it is an official matter. Perhaps someone in the government is causing trouble for Your Highness. Perhaps it is because Your Highness handed over 30% of the resources. Perhaps someone is holding on to it. Summer City understood. Just 30%. Let's see what they can do. Night Sorrow was not afraid of this at all. He could lead the Nine Heavens army to victory, but Qing Lin and Qing Wan could not. He wanted to see what they could do to him. Everything he did was for the benefit of the Qing Emperor dynasty and the stability of the Nine Heavens army. When Night Sorrow and Summer City arrived at the Qing Emperor dynasty's palace, Night Sorrow smiled when he saw the situation in the main hall. At this time, in the main hall of the Qing Emperor dynasty's palace, many officials stood on both sides. There were around 200 people. The Qing Emperor sat in the main seat. Xian Daozi and Zhan Tan stood diagonally behind him. Qing Lin and Qing Wan stood at the bottom of the stairs. In the middle of the main hall, Night Sorrow tidied his robe and bowed to the Qing Emperor. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.